cold cases to serial killers, missing persons, and more.
100% he did this.
I'd go off into fantasy world.
How much more lucky can you get that you're not on death row?
You want to know what we know.
My name is Jay. This is Guilty of Crime.
Hello, everybody. What is up? All right. Hopefully you guys are here today to learn something. We're going to be semi-oblivious Benson style. Shout out to Kat. We're going to show Papa Ron some love, Duty Ron. And, well, any creator that has respect and class for the MADELINE SOTO case. So, that being said, I want to show you all, and I'm going to say hello to everybody. Don't forget to hit the like button as we come in. I actually have quite a bit to say today, so hit the like. All right, what is up? Okay, so glad to get everyone access to court documents. Yes, we're going to access the court documents so that I can show you all. What's up, Randy? What's up, Peace Girl? What's up, C. Smith? My sister from another mister. Now, I was on here chatting with y'all for a minute and saying, hey, check this out. You got questions? I can answer them today to the best of my ability with the information that we have available. Now, the reason I'm doing this today, justice for Maddie, Sadie's mama, one of my favorite people on the planet, and a day one. Now, I just came from the living room, and I have a 9-year-old daughter, and she's home today with a fever. So 9-year-old going on 10. Maddie started getting essayed at, 8 years old? And then her life was taken at 13. So this case is not one that I want to cover because I want you guys to like and click, and I need views or want views on this, and I don't think the integrity of anybody should. What's up, Millie? Millie's one of my favorite people. So today I'm coming on for a few reasons, and one, to show you guys how to look up the case files yourself so that you're not misled. On Sunday, I got quite a bit of information from a lot of my viewers about things that, and I get that because they're my crime crew, and they come to me to see if I can debunk or clarify information and documents that we have or don't have or can't have or shouldn't have or wouldn't have, or I wouldn't tell you, to be honest with you. So if somebody told me, and this has happened many times, I hear about something 2 or 3 days before it comes out and I can't say anything. So sometimes I'll kind of tease you. What's up, Stephanie? Thank you. I hope she feels better too. Sometimes I'll tease you all and say, hey, I've got something, but I can't say it yet. I've got to wait. And I'll tell you that and get you all excited, because I'm excited. I can't wait to tell you. It's like Christmas and we're moving forward in the case. Well, right now I'm going to show you what we're moving forward with. Hashtag arrest Jen Soto, TechBird. Yes. And thank you all for the healing prayers for my daughter. Absolutely. I just can't imagine the things that are being said about Maddie, exploiting Maddie, talking about potentially Maddie's autopsy even being released, or pregnancy, or Jen Soto is not going to get charged, or she's get a plea deal. I don't know what we're talking about here, but that's not what's going down. So if you've been following me, we've been covering this case. You know that I know a lot of people over there. I heard about a lot of this stuff on Sunday. I'm going to bring up some things. I'm going to bring up Reddit so you can see some things that came out. And I mean, we see situations here, but they're not situations that need to go on a show and say, oh, I need 20,000 views, so I'm going to put MADELINE SOTO up so you guys can. No, we're not going to do that. We are going to show respect, and I'm going to show you how to do it yourself. So what I want to show you, and then I'm going to read this thing that I got from one of my lovely ladies in Florida about the autopsy report in Florida and what's allowed and what's not allowed and why we wouldn't even know some of these things. We would not know if Madeline Soto was pregnant. We would not know. We actually wouldn't even know the cause of death, which Court TV gave to us. We're not really sure that that's true. We had one time Court TV gave us a picture of a balloon with Stephan Sterns in it, and it said Stephan Sterns was at Madeline Soto's birthday party. And by golly gee, I talked to the family, and the family said Stephan Sterns was never at the party. And then guess what? Stephan Sterns wasn't at the party. He never was at the party. And one of the aunts took her home. And Stephan Sterns lied in wait for Maddie. Hello, Kathy Rivera. So before I came on today, I made sure I talked to all the people that I needed to make sure that we verified this information and that it's not true. It is not true. There's no autopsy reports. There's nobody telling anybody about anything other than what has been revealed and as it comes out. And if it is, it's against the law. All right. So, Jay, it's been so long. I'm kind of thinking Jen isn't going to be arrested. It's upsetting as it is. Now, Military Ma, I understand your frustration and everybody else's. All right. I do. I understand everybody's frustration. And that's why I think people make up stories and tell lies and do fake call-ins. I mean, I'm not going to mention the person that I'm not going to mention who, but if you know that there was a YouTuber recently that did a fake call-in for Madeline Soto, and he's been off of YouTube for over a month. Now the whole YouTube community has been just on him for faking this call. It's been a big deal, folks. He lost like 5,000 followers. Like, you just don't exploit children that have been abused and then their life taken. So you can come to me if you have a question, but I'm going to show you the website. But I have to say this, and Millie, thank you. Section 119.07 Florida statute requires that the victim information be confidential and not subject to public disclosure. So if anybody's telling you anything else, it's either illegal or it's a lie, because that's not the truth. All right. Yeah. Now, Lauren might know what I'm talking about, and I'm not going to disclose that synth server. I can tell you behind the scenes, but I'm not going to. If you look up on YouTube, the community is super upset about it. And you say, what? Who would do that? I'm not going to put anybody on blast today, but I'm going to tell you it's being done, and that little girl is being exploited. And that's the only reason I'm here today, because I got a message from several people on Sunday that were very upset about information that came out and questioning me if it's true. So I said, let me reach out to the folks that I talked to and find out if there's any validity to these things. And there absolutely, in fact, are not. All right. So I'm just going to tell you real quick, an autopsy report in Florida of a minor whose death was related to any act of domestic violence held by a medical examiner is confidential and exempt from, and then it says, the legal jargon, and then it says Art I of the statute of Constitution, except that a surviving parent of the deceased minor, which would be either Tyler Wallace or Jennifer Soto. Now we have access in a way to Tyler Wallace. He's not giving that. He's not giving the autopsy report, and Jen Soto is not arrested. So she has the option to give that, and she's not. All right. So by a surviving parent, a minor may view and copy the autopsy report if a surviving parent did not commit the act of domestic violence, which has led to a minor's death. Florida status. Now, Jennifer Soto hasn't been ruled out, and she hasn't been arrested. Okay. Now, if I had any integrity in this case and somebody messaged me and gave me some information that I couldn't show you, I wouldn't tell you about it. So, yes, you're welcome, Slim. Now, I'm not only just going to tell you about Florida law, I'm going to show it to you right now so you guys can get the documents yourself. All right. Now, Jen Soto is still free. I'm going to put Papa Ron on after. I wish I could get Papa Duty Ron in the Oblivious Benson family. We have, we assign Uncle Aunt Jay, and we got Uncle Adam and all that. Papa Ron, Duty Ron. So we're gonna listen to him in a little bit on the situation, and it's a shame that Soto is still free after endangering and neglect. The justice system's a joke. How and why is justice taking so long for the victims? And no questions are dumb. And the reason it's taking long is because they're making sure they do it properly, whether they rule her in or rule her out. She has not gotten a plea deal. She has not been arrested. She's not working with the prosecution. Do I have the paperwork on that? No. Do I have people that know more information than I do? Yes. Has it been released? No. Okay. Since over dumb question. When we do all this staking and figuring things out, does that go against the case? No. You know what goes against the case? Is making stuff up about the case and saying that it's factual. So that actually hurts the case more than it does for you to just be able to look at the dang case yourself. All right. So I'm just going to show you. In my opinion, the way it's being approached right now, it's horrible. People are going on to, and I'm going to show you the case right now. I'm going to go to the court. I put the link in chat so you can see it. So everything is slow in Florida. I appreciate that. Duty Ron also says Jen Soto is not getting a pass. Duty Ron also says Jen Soto he's listed out and I've talked to him and I 333 Maddie, we love you, and we're not going to do another show until something else comes out. And the reason I'm doing it now is because Stephan Sterns' trial is coming up. I'm going to show you that. That's what we're going to do right now. And I'm going to show you how to get to the free information page so it doesn't hurt anything. It's not hurting anything to give you real information, but it hurts to have fake information out there. It should be illegal. But when somebody gets caught, like the YouTuber that put a fake call out, when they get caught, you better believe that YouTube folks are coming for you. YouTube folks will be coming for you, and they will be unsubscribing, and they will be freaking just mad. They'll be mad. They'll be relentless. So be transparent, folks. Have dignity, have integrity, and remember, it's a little girl like my daughter that we're talking about here, and I just can't. I cannot. What's up? Which she's a hey Jane Crime Crew. All right, so I'm showing you. Now, I'm not sure what careful means, but I don't know what that means, but I'm good. I'm actually showing you how to get there because I get so many messages a day about what's real, and people look up the case themselves. You get the case number, you look on the county, and you don't have to pay some YouTuber to get the documents with their logo on it that they're going to sell you for $4 or whatever. Right? Indigo Montoya says, heard it here first. Let's talk about the twisted home of the Stearns family. Dad's car had this license plate. Ever seem strange to you? I yell at you. What the? Interesting. That is interesting. I didn't even realize that. And we have that. We have a lot of family information that we've dug into. So thank you for coming here and telling us about it. And I'd love to dig more into Stephan Sterns, the guy that has been arrested, instead of making up stories about Maddie. Wow. Thank you. And thank you for the super chat. All right. So I have nothing to be careful about, folks. I have my lovely ladies behind me. Now, I'm not giving misinformation, presumes the truth is known and arguable. Davey, I love you, but I don't know what you're talking about if you're talking to me, but I'm giving you guys the transparent truth so you can go look for yourselves and see what's real and what's not. So I'm not getting into who's talking smack. I'm just saying there's some tasteless creators out there. And you all know that I cover this case and I have access, and you're coming to me for answers. So I'm going to give them to you. All right. What's up, Fire Opal? Glad to see you. I think he's not going to talk. He's going to take the offer. All right. They did not give him an offer. So let's get past this and Joyce and get to the next thing. All right. Yeah, MFAR. I have a small batch of channels I follow. That being said, you're one of them. Thanks for the facts. Thank you. All right. So here we're going to go on this website, and this website is in fact factual because it's osceolaclerk.com. All right, so I'll start over so you can see it because I did give you the case number in the actual. If you go to the body of my messages, wait, let me get to this. If you go into the body of the description today, what is up, my beautiful Melly? If you go in my description today, I put the link and the case number, and lovely Bree sent that over to me. So thank you, Bree. We've got his case number in the website. So I'll start with that and I'll show you. We'll do it oblivious Benson style so you can see how to get to the documents. And this is not a slippery slope. In fact, other YouTube creators, and I'm not faulting them when they pay hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars for documents. If they want to resell them for $4, hey, I understand. You can't sit there and email a bunch of people all day long. So I don't want to email you all day long. I love you guys, but I don't love you that much to email. Go get the documents yourself. What's up, Adam Drives Helen? All right. And we're doing this because it's like, it's Hawaiian style. All right. So we're going to be transparent, say facts, and give information with proofs and documentation. And I appreciate that about other creators. I'm not saying anything bad if you sell documents, but we're not selling documents. So I'm going to show you how to get to them. And then we're going to see when Stephan Sterns trial is coming up. We're going to see some Papa Ron stuff. We're going to take a look at some Reddit stuff so you can see what's kind of going on. So I just went to Osceola. I'll put that in the chat. Let's see. Control V. All right. So if you look in the chat, it takes you to Osceola clerk. And then you just put the case number in. Simply put the case number in. So once I put the case number in, which is you go here. So Osceola clerk, and then you search case information. All right. Easy as that. I'm not going by the name. I'm going by the case number. So I'm going to copy the case number into that. I'm not going to make it complicated. I'm not trying to be oblivious Benson. She's 10 times smarter than me. I'll agree with that. All right. I don't know what happened there. 1 second. Let me go back to this, make sure. Okay. It just refreshed. All right. So search case information, case number, and I am not a robot and I am not a cat. So there we go. It's searching and hopefully I'm on the right one. And State of Florida versus Stephan Michael Sterns. Okay, so it didn't go on the right one. Let me find the page that I was on because I opened up like 20 pages. Hold on. I'll stop sharing this one and show you the other one. Let me just get off of all of them so I can see what the heck I'm doing here, folks. All right, so I don't know if you saw me put that in there, but I gave you both the case number and that. So I'm going to pull up the other one and I'll show you what I found. And you know, I haven't seen Athena in a while, but Athena is usually gung-ho about the documents. She comes to me with them and I'm like, wow, you're just so smart to go get them yourself instead of listening. So God bless and thank for all you do. Thank you all for being here. And yeah, you're really not a cat. Me neither. And someone says I am a cat. Okay, Synth server, are you in? Okay, so let's look at this page, and now we're gonna see what Stephan Sterns, what's happening with Stephan Sterns. What documents are out? Are there really autopsy documents? Is that even legal? No, it's not. It's absolutely illegal to do that, and it's unethical. And if somebody gives you information before, very unethical. All right, so I'm gonna make it bigger so you guys could see this. All right, and you see, thank you, Bree, for putting that. It's in chat, but I also have it in the description. So there's a case number and there's the website. Now let's look at this together, and then I can tell you when the trial's coming up, and then I can tell you what a speedy trial means and why I know that Stephan Sterns waived his right. He waived his right to a speedy trial because we don't have a speedy trial and we're not probably going to go to it. Spoiler alert. All right. We have everything we need now. We have Keith Karsten here, and I didn't pay a penny for any of this. Keith Karsten. We have a case number. We have the date on here that it was filed, 4/24/24. Total fees due, $50. I don't know who that's for, but there's $50 due to somebody, not me. All right. Waive speedy trial, right? It's not even open. It's not open to me, but it tells you all the information now. It tells you the defendant is Stephan Sterns, and it gives you the public defender. This page gives you everything you possibly need. It doesn't even tell us who the public defender is, by the way. So, what's up, Rosie? And everybody for being here. Thank you. Sue Marie says, I've been waiting so long for this, been forever. Watch it when I'm out on work. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. Evil Lady, Crime Crew. I saw Guilty Crime Rep and Grizzly True Crime Trial. Absolutely love her. And that was a crazy trial today, right? All right. A crime to remember. I'm about done with YouTube, right? I don't blame you. I don't blame you. It's ugh. All right. I love representing these people though and being able to help folks, man. So that's why I want to show you this. And I also love the community that I've built and the people I'm working with. So we've got Stephan Sterns here. All right, folks. Everybody's asking me about the trial and am I going and when is it? So check this out. Right now, I didn't even know. Somebody had told me it's coming up August. And I wonder if Carrie's in chat. Carrie, if you're in chat, you had told me about the trial. You said that there was something set for August, possibly. And what's up, NYC baby boomer? It is absolute shame and disgusting that Jennifer Soto is out and free. Divine justice for Maddie will happen. That woman is so guilty. Poor Madeline went through so much. Amen. Amen and amen. And thank you, Teresa Knight. You're awesome. Here for you, Jay. And we're here for you so you can not have to pay people and be wondering what the heck is going on and coming back. I can just answer everybody now. Yeah, let's get 300 likes. That'd be cool. It does say the status hearings in October, folks. So where did the August come from? Rumors, rumors, rumors. We're going to debunk those as much as we can today. So we've got, for this particular case number, this case number is obviously for the first degree capital murder. So we're missing a case number, I believe. Bree, if you can, are there two case numbers? So he has two things going on right now. Number one, he's got the first degree. Number two, he's got the 60 counts of CSA. Thank you, Brenda. And I appreciate that. And if you guys are watching stuff that you think is a little bit whatever, just don't spread it. We just hit 444. Another prayer for Maddie. And we work for the victim. So I would think about if Maddie was my boss, would she want me to be saying things about her that were degrading? I don't think so. All right. So, Bree, let me know if that's it. But I'm going to look through this anyway. And I'm going to tell you that Stephan Sterns must have waived his right to a speedy trial. What does that mean? Well, the Sixth Amendment and various state laws guarantee a defendant's right to a speedy trial, which means that they move quickly. There's time constraints, and you have a certain amount of time depending on the state. So many defendants, particularly those who are waiting in jail, want to enforce this right. They don't want to sit in jail. Like Sterns, like Stephan Sterns. They don't want to sit in jail. If you're not guilty, you want to go to trial, get your shit together, and get out. You just want to get through it. But lawyers frequently advise their clients to waive time. That is, to agree to the proceedings moving slower than state law provides. Okay? So I want you to know that when you think that, oh man, things are moving really slow. I don't understand. I don't get it. It's just, they don't get it. And I'm trying to break it down for you. And I'm trying to figure out, I see people saying not true, not true. That channel's confused. Maddie, truth for you. Absolutely. Only the best for Maddie. I can't see it any other way, man. I just can't. So here's the one case here. And I'm just going to look. So you're right. You're on point. You know your law stuff already. I'm learning with y'all. So right here, he has a status hearing. Stephan Michael Sterns has a status hearing on October 14th, 2024 at 9 a.m. So they didn't do that for no reason. They didn't just set that date with a magic marker and just it be magic, throw a dart at a thing. They did that because of the time that they had on the calendar, enough to get ready, the scheduling, but he didn't waive his right. Or I should say he did waive his right to a speedy trial. He doesn't want a speedy trial. And you're going to see why after we go through this. I'm going to show you what it's going to look like for him in jail. I hope that people like it. Heist not far says 460 watching, not that many likes. Hit it. Thank you. I'm not asking for money, but likes would be nice so we can get the information out there. All right. So let's see. I was supposed to call Paul. Paul DeMolo, if you're here, I'll call you after. So Paul's calling me. I'm live right now. I'll call after. Sorry, guys. All right. Anyway, hit the like button, please. All right. Yeah, please. Crime, remember, you're right. Please don't believe everything you hear on YouTube. Even for me, do your research. If you hear something that I said that's misinformation, come at me and say, hey, Jay, that's not true. Look at the documentation I have. Keep me in check. If you see me doing, thank you, Senserber. I wish I could copy that, but I can't. It doesn't let me copy. Oh, so it's just a 3 after it. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Thank you for that. Thank you. You're so awesome, Synth. Synth is amazing. I wish I could have you on here with me, like doing stuff with me on the show. All right. So I'm going to go hit the back button. And, well, as soon as I'm done, it's just a 4. All right. So the other one is a 3 and one's a 4. That's the only difference. No, that's the same one. It's CF01. It's the same number that I have it on there, I believe. 49204. Let me go back on here. 49204. Okay, I'll type that in after. I need somebody to email that to me because it's not letting me copy it. Bree, if you could email me the case number that's on here, I could pull it up after. It's a 4. There's a 49. Oh, 49 before. Okay, I got it. Never mind. We're cool. I'm sorry. There's a bunch of numbers in front of me, and I just got off work and all right, let me copy that. But let's finish this and then I'll do it 49 before that. I'll keep that up so you guys can write it down also. Okay. So he's not going to have a status hearing until October 14th. And that's if that happens. Now, you've watched it with me and all kinds of other times. Thank you, Synth Server. That would be helpful. Now I know, Rosie, you want to know when the potato is going to join her monster in jail and prison. Thank you. That's what we want to know. But in the meantime, we're going to see about this so we can keep up on it. Once she gets a case number, we're going to keep up on it. And we're not going to think that she's not getting arrested because she hasn't been arrested. And no, she has not come up. She hasn't had a plea deal. Thank you, Kowalski. I'm going to type that in after the 49's international. Okay, so we're going to just look at this page. And then you guys, I showed you how to get to it. Yeah, his trial on the remaining 60 charges is currently set to begin August 19th per CNN. Thank you. Thank you. Now, the whole reason I came is because 2 things on Sunday. Someone messaged me about the trial, and if I'm excited to be there, it's going to start. And then also with a bunch of other things that I was like, nah, no. I'll check that for you. Let me check that for you, and then I'll get back to you. So I assume if they saw that, then a bunch of you all saw that. Now, okay, so August 19th is in 6 days, folks. August 19th is in 6 days. Number 1, Stephan Sterns doesn't have to show up. And number 2, Stephan Sterns is probably not going to show up, and he only has to show up when the judge makes him, just like Adam Montgomery. Now, Carleen Williams, I don't know if that's an option for him to plead guilty. I mean, I guess he could plead guilty, right? He's pleaded not guilty. I don't even know how you can not plead guilty. All right. So let's just go on this and then we'll get to the next thing. I want to show you some of the stuff on Reddit so you can see like the things that people say. All right, so a status hearing's coming up. Now, if you look at this, everyone that just told me that, I prefer if he just plead guilty and spare Maddie. He is a coward, absolutely. He's not going to show up unless the judge orders him to. And there's a pretrial, but the pretrial didn't happen. So that's what I wanted to show you. So look at this. We're in August 13th, 2024, folks. And we had a jury trial that happened a month ago on July 16th, 2024. Do we remember Stephan Sterns having a jury trial? No. So they were supposed to set the trial. They were supposed to start the trial and pick the jury for this case. And the count right here on this case is first degree capital murder. So what happened with the jury trial is it got continued. What happened with the pretrial hearing? It got continued. Did Stephan Sterns ever show up? Not once. We've been here for it every time I've got online and stopped what I was doing to get on there, and he never showed up to anything. All right, so now we have a status hearing that we see, and there's no result yet. I think the status hearing is just going to be a hearing that he's not going to show up to, and they're going to get more time. Now, you got to remember, they are still, in some semblance, they're still, Jennifer Soto is a component in the case. Okay, she has a stake in this case, and yeah, I don't know what I don't think that he's pled anything. That's my opinion. He can't. They're not going to make him a plea deal with this. So, since Sober says a defense not sufficiently prepared for trial, the non-moving party stipulates defendant waives speedy trial case set for case management status hearing. Thank you. So, yeah, if it's not sufficiently prepared. Now, if he was to say, I want a speedy trial, and he didn't waive his rights, prepared or not, here we go. Here we go. We're going to go. We're doing a trial, whether the prosecution likes it or they don't. All right? That's not anything. He has to show up for trial. He can't waive his appearance. You can't say that, though, because Adam Montgomery, does anyone remember Adam Montgomery being at his trial? Wave your hands, kids. Like OB would say, raise your hands. No, for real, though, Adam Montgomery trial. Do me a favor. Put a 2 in chat if you remember Adam Montgomery not showing up for his trial. So, Techbird says status hearings here in Florida, as long as have legal representation, don't have to be present for the trial. They don't have to be present for the trial. They do have to be present. And I'm assuming that you're saying they have to be present for the sentencing. And that was Adam Montgomery. Thank you, Techbird. Okay. So all of you guys are amazing. And you are freaking rock stars because you were paying attention to Adam Montgomery. And I covered that case. And everybody was so mad for that little gorgeous little baby girl. Oh, okay. Oh, she's so... Kayla Montgomery's out, Adam Montgomery, and I should remember the other Montgomery since she's the victim here. So it's Harmony Montgomery. Thank you. Bree's right 2 steps ahead of me. Harmony Montgomery. He didn't go at all. Adam Montgomery didn't show up until the judge made him, and then he showed up. Thank you, Rosie. I appreciate that. And I hope you guys use the website to check the status hearings and to look at what you want and to download documents. If you don't know something about something, please just check or just message me so I can check with people and tell you if it's true or not. Like, I just don't want misinformation. I feel like we're re-victimizing the victim by doing that. Millie said it the best yesterday. And I should probably read that, but she said it the best. All right, so we're looking at this. Let me pull this down so you can see it again. Darn, I missed the beginning. It's okay, Sunshine. You can go back, but yes, love for Harmony. That was horrible that she's out. She's out. She could have told many times. Right. So we're going to listen in a little bit and we're going to see what's coming for Stephan Sterns. Jen Soto, we have nothing on here yet, but I want you to know that she's not in the clear. They're still working on it. I've talked to many officers, not many officers in that state, and she's not in the clear. She's probably not going to be in the clear. I don't know if she's on the state witness list. I don't think that they have. I think if she was, they have some things blurred out. But we have all the documentation. We have the 896. I really wish I had Sailor Moon's healing power escalation. Good evening, everybody, and arrest Jen Soto. Right? Okay. All right. So let me see that. Let me look up and see if I could do this one more time with the case number, if it's the same or not. I think it is, but I don't see the charges for. Let's see, Server. Video shows Sean being oh, this is about the Sonia case. Oh, there it is, 49. It's the same thing. Okay, let me do this. I don't know why the other charges are not on this one. Normally, I just type it in and that's what comes up. So let's do a search again real quick and then go 49 dash. They're two separate cases. I shouldn't have done that. 49 dash search. All right, so that didn't come up. Maybe because they think I'm a robot. Let's see. That nothing came up with that, folks. So, all right, I did do that and I can't, okay, let's check my name just for teaching purposes and then we'll move on with the next segment. Okay. So that I'm going to show you some Reddit stuff and then we're going to listen to Papa Ron and some Jailhouse Justice and what's waiting for Stephan Sterns, last name. Now, for Sterns, he does not want to be in prison yet. He does not want to face what's going to happen, and we're going to see the conditions and stuff like that. Sterns, last name, and then Stephan. Now, I don't know if you need Michael because I didn't do it by that, but nothing came up. So we're just going to use that case number. I have them posted, and we're going to move on to the next thing. I showed you how to get to it. There's only the one charge on there. So there's got to be two case numbers, one for the CSA or SA and one for the homicide, or I'm sorry. Okay, hold on. One for the murder. All right. And that's going to probably be a capital murder case. Oh, there it is. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Bree. That's a completely different case number. All right. Here we are. Now we can see. All right. I didn't. Because I think I'm a robot still. All right, folks. I promise I have more for you. Hang in there. And if you do decide to leave, hit the like button on your way out. I don't know why that's not coming up, Bree. So let's go back to Osceola. Well, we have one of the cases, and I know we have both of them, but let me just go to the Osceola first, and then we'll go back to that, and then I'll move on. I mean, I told you how to get there, and then I'll post the other case number, and you can get there that way. I just don't want to waste your time doing that. I don't want to waste your time doing this, but I do want to show you the according to CNN. I want to show you on here. I don't want to know according to CNN. I want to know according to guilty of crime, according to the Osceola County courthouse. That's what I want to know. All right. So let me get back here and then I promise I'll move on. No time wasting. We don't have that much time left, folks. I don't have anywhere to go right now, but my daughter's not feeling that great. And I'm not here to waste anyone's time either. So let's hit I'm not a robot, hit search. And interesting. 0 cases found, Bree. So something happened with that. Something happened with that, Bree. And it could be there could be something on the website. But right now we pulled up the one I showed you, and we're going to move on to the next segment. There's a website. There's a case number, and please come to me with questions. And today we're going to take any questions that we can. We'll have a time for that. And everybody hit that like, Sunshine Healer Heart. I freaking love this channel. Thank you. I love all of you. You guys are the best. And I love that you do trust in Jay and you come and you ask so that I can get the answers. It's an essay and domestic crime. It won't show. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Cool then. So then we see everything that's coming up. So Sabrina, you're amazing. And you know why? Because what you're telling me is that the essay that somebody came to me and said, "Hey Jay, we hear for sure that Maddie was pregnant. Did you know that?" So now we know you can't go on that website and get essay because it's a domestic crime and it won't show up. Wow. So much do we learn. So much do we learn. All right. So we're going to get off that. I'm going to go on to Reddit real quick, and then we're going to listen to some, what's going to happen, what's happening with Stephan Sterns, or Stephan Sterns. I can't even, that guy is gross. All right. Jailhouse Justice. There's still 488 people in here. I wonder if another show started, but hey, it's okay. All right. So some of the stuff that's going on out there, and yeah, thank you. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but that's BS. Rosie, I've been called the sloth by who? Oh, just because. Okay, thank you. And if it involves a minor, especially. So all of those things, folks. Now put me in check. I want you to put me in check and freaking slap me in the face if every single day that website, when you go look at that website, nothing's changed. No new documents have come around to download. Okay. Just slap me in the face if you see me streaming about MADELINE SOTO every single day. Okay. That means that I have no other people that are contacting me and asking me to help them get their cases out, and that I'm really just hungry for viewers, and I'm just doing Maddie's case every day. And now we're looking at Stephan Sterns' right toe to see if it possibly touched the car. But let's bring up Maddie because Maddie might have. No. I've been busy teaching, so it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to do both. Okay, let's look at this real quick and then we're going to get on. We're going to move on. All right, so Reddit is full of BS. But at least the people on Reddit keep it behind the scenes. They're not responsible content creators, and they don't have to be. The 28th gen was on Stephan. Oh, this thing. This one's just, I don't even know. So here's a rumor here, and I'm not even going to, you guys can go on and look at it. I was reading that, and it gave me a headache because it doesn't make sense completely. So I don't know where they got this information from on Reddit or what's going on or what even they're saying, but they're talking about Jen is on to Stephan Sterns. Like she knew that Stephan Sterns was doing that when they were in the hotel, and he took her car keys. Her car keys were gone and no one knows where he was. Now we know Stephan Sterns returned to Northport for like 10 minutes. He went to the house. So then this post goes back to that day at 9:45 when Jen calls Chris. Now, this is a totally different story because it says that here, from what I've heard, but there's no documentation, that Jen called Stephan Sterns' father to ask for help. Vape on all this. Okay. A breath of fresh air. All right. Papa Ron was on a live. We got a notification. Oh, yay. We love Papa Ron. What's in the vape? I don't smoke marijuana, folks. I haven't smoked marijuana for like 20 years probably. I'm 45. I used to smoke in my 20s when I was young. I used to go out drinking, slothing when I was going to college, and probably up until I was about 25, 24, 25, I'd go out drinking with the friends and smoking, but this is just a vape. Nothing's in the vape except vape juice. That's bad for my lungs. All right. Yeah. Sub to Papa Duty Ron. But yeah, I don't drink anymore. I don't smoke. You can ask Carly. I'm never hungover. Because I don't have anything to be hungover from. Yeah, the good old days when they didn't have social media. All right. Vaping custard. I don't even know what mine's called. Mine's called effing fabulous. All right. So let's look at this weird thing. So from my information, this here says that Jen called Stephan Sterns' dad to ask if he knew where Stephan was. That doesn't make any sense. Jen takes the dog out. Now, this is the day that Maddie went missing, that morning when no one knew. And brother Adam, you smoke your weed every day. You do that, and you do it proud. I just don't smoke marijuana. And yeah, it's better than nicotine. You're absolutely right, but I don't smoke it. I don't like things that hinder my my mind. I want to be on point. So it doesn't matter if you smoke it. I'm in California, smoke away. All right. Yeah, my and you smoke it up. Smoke a blunt, smoke whatever you want. It's legal. Drinking is legal too. I just don't do it. All right. But you guys all, hey, have a fun time. Samantha Q, what's up? We miss you too. All right. So this is a misinformation on Reddit, folks. And again, if you had the documents of the 895 pages, I don't know where she's getting. Jen took out the dog. According to who? Because we haven't heard from Jen. And then Maddie's aunt and grandfather approached the detectives of the scene and asked for an update. Then at 10:03, Jen returns from taking the dog. Could Jen have called the detective and gave them a heads up? So this person's on Jen, like thinking Jen shouldn't be arrested. Where's this coming from? Does anyone know why Jen would call a detective, give them a heads up about Stephan Sterns, folks, and then after that, go on to the news stations and sit there and tell that lie over and over and over? Does anyone think that? It's legal in Virginia. I puff the good stuff for pain, but absolutely better than pills. I'm all for it, man. Whatever y'all do, I don't care. Like, I'm no judgment to me. Just don't beat your children or your spouses. All right? I don't care. All right, just know for our guilty crime for I'm happy 20 minutes later. All right, Synth. And you still have good information. And I'm not. I'm gonna get off this and go on to the next thing. I just want you to know that none of this stuff is coming from my channel. So when people come to me and ask me about this stuff, I'll try to verify what I can. And what I'm telling you now is anything that you guys heard about Maddie or Jen not going to be arrested is not true. None of this stuff is true. This is all Reddit and then irresponsible content creators. All right. So we Reddit, sometimes if you go on there, they'll have documentation like this. So if you're looking for the real documents, you actually can see. Hold on, I'm going to show you this real quick. Let me stop sharing this. I'm going to show you this one piece that you can see. Sometimes you can get documents from Reddit. If you go on there, you get clips and stuff. So if you're looking for pieces of documents, and then we're going to get to Papa Ron, because Papa Ron's great, and I believe what he says. I have faith in him as well as Oblivious Benson, and I value their opinions. On February 28th, doesn't mean their opinions are always correct, but Oblivious Benson thinks that, and this is where potato came from. Oblivious Benson calls Jen an evil potato that was just drunk or high all day off of pills and didn't do anything. And Papa Ron and I think that she's totally culpable and should be arrested yesterday. Yes, L. Price. I don't believe anything is correct. Right. Agreed. And you shouldn't. All right. And whoever thinks that Jen shouldn't be arrested, that's on you. Whoever says that, that's on you guys. All right. OB and Judy Ron. Yeah. So this is real. This is a real clip from the document. And it says on February 28th at approximately 2:13 hours, Stephan, and I'm assuming that it's Jen, because they crossed out. There was 3 people at the hotel: Stephan, Jen, and Stephan's father check into the hotel at the front desk. Stephan and Jen are given room 239, and Stephan's father is given room 203 on February 28th at 4:42. Stephan exits the hotel through the main front gate, and at approximately 7:28, Stephan's father exits the hotel through the main front entrance. And then at 9:54, Jen exits the hotel to walk her dog to the main front. Okay, so that's where they're getting the timeline from. Then returns at 10:03. At approximately 10:50, Stephan's father re-enters the hotel through the main entrance, and then at 10:55, Stephan re-enters through the main front entrance. February 28th. So 15:07 would be what? 2:07. They check out, which is a late checkout. They're in trouble. Check out of the hotel at the front desk on February 29th at 8:19. Stephan's father checks out at the front desk. All right, that's all that says. And they came up with some weird theory. Oh, what happened to my chat? You guys disappeared. Hold on. All right, there we go. All right, we're going to pull this down. We're done with that. Now we're going to see what's coming for Stephan Sterns and why Stephan Sterns hasn't. I thought they said Stephan Sterns walked the dog when he went in the room. No, I just showed you the documentation. That was the actual documentation from the 800 and whatever, 896 odd amount of pages. All right, so we're gonna do some of this, and this guy is so passionate. Hello, sweet girl. Finally got to catch you live. Hey, Rosie, and I'm gonna say Rosie R. Thank you for being a member for a month. What and Synth? Wait, what'd you say? No, he didn't. Where's the dog now? That's a good question. And that's probably with Jen Soto. Where's Jen Soto? We're going to be making things up if we were to say she's with the family. But that's what they tell me, the people that are in that area, that the police have her under, they know where she is. They're not like, she didn't go off to Puerto Rico, or which is still United States. You don't need a passport for it, but she's not taking off or going anywhere. Right. And Sunshine, this is what Duty Ron says. I ask these people because I'm not an officer. I've never been an officer. I'm never going to be an officer, probably. And so I seek the advice of those that understand the law and they know what's going on. And so this man does. And this man seems to think that that Jen Soto is a basement dweller. And Rosie R, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. It all helps. I appreciate it. Keep it going. It keeps things going. Sunshine, yes, they played dumb, but I also think she kept, I think they kept her on tranquilizers, but I do agree she had to know and even was involved in the unalive. Right. Now, just remember, we're going to get back to the basics. Basic necessity of this case. If Jen Soto is just a dumb, evil potato, folks, there's still child neglect involved if she was tranked out all day. And she told the story of Stephan Sterns 2 times on video. We saw it on the news. So they had a scripted story. And what is that? What is that? Aiding and abetting, or obstruction of justice. All right. So we've got neglect and obstruction of justice, if that's the least amount. I don't think that at all. I do not think that they're only going to get her for neglect and obstruction of justice. They want more. And the reason I know they want more is because I've heard many people say it. And in my opinion, it's my opinion that I think the police want more. Guilty of crime. It's like homeschooling. I don't need to know it to teach it. It's called Khan Academy or KSDRS or JSP. Right. Khan Academy. Interesting. All right, so let's listen to this guy for a little bit and let's see what's waiting for. We're going to talk about Stephan Sterns for a little bit, because first of all, justice for Maddie, may it be served swiftly as it can, but let it be done properly. We want Jen Soto to get arrested, but I didn't put Jen Soto in the topic today because I knew it was going to come up anyway. We want her arrested. But who is arrested is Stephan Sterns right now. We're going to do a little bit of Duty Ron with some Jumpsuit Pablo, which is interesting. So let's listen to him for a minute and we'll jump around.
I always have Anthony from Tier Talk and, Russ and the whole crew, Connie. But I wanted you guys tonight to get an unfiltered prisoner's perspective. Jumpsuit Pablo, as you know, Paul just hit that 300,000 subscriber mark. He's on a roll. He's got 770,000 TikTok followers. They call them over there, not subscribers. They call them followers. He's doing great stuff. Facebook, all the social medias. And I'm proud that this young 32-year-old man did his time and came out on the side of good. He's 32 years young. He spent a great deal of his
Now, I've shown some jumpsuit Pablo stuff before, but I didn't know the extent of his background. I wasn't sure if it would be somebody that is credible. Like, I just don't know. I'm very new to YouTube. So when I go to somebody like OB or Papa Ron, Duty Ron, I should just call him Duty Ron. But when I go to someone like that, I'm going to trust that they are being legit with what they say. Right. There's other people that aren't, that have been false to me in this community. And so I'm just learning as I go. Yeah, that guy's awesome with the Wade's calls, just absolutely just all over the internet. And he gives me a headache because I don't even want to cover him anymore, but I will. All right. So let's listen to this and let's listen to some Pablo and see what Stephan Sterns has coming. And we can still answer questions about what we were talking about before. But now you know the case number. Now you know how to get to the website. You can download your own documents there. And if you want the documents, I can't just send emails all day, but we can figure something out how to. I have a Patreon. I guess we can do that. Or I don't want to pay. I don't want you to have to pay for it. I just want to put it somewhere where you can get it. Anyway, we'll have to talk about that as we get document heavy.
Early parts of his life in prison, 10 years. And he'll talk a little bit about that tonight. But before we get into it, I want to say a special thank you to you, the Patreon supporters, the channel members, the folks who subscribe and positively engage in this community. You guys are what makes this a great place. And Ed and myself, we give thanks and praise to you guys, because without the live and replay and the viewing audience, we have nothing. So we want to give thanks and praise to you guys, our live viewing audience. We do live streams. We're live streamers. Not a lot of uploads.
All right. We love you too.
In business.
Let's talk about.
You're right now at 5. Sometimes Johnny Fernandez is in Osceola County, and Johnny, the jail, hasn't seen an upgrade in quite a while.
Yeah, Martha, the last time it had a big update was back in the 80s. Now, the chief I spoke with, he told me that at this point, they're looking at building a new jail to tackle issues like the growing population here in Osceola County, along with the aging infrastructure. With the growing population here in Osceola County, management says it needs to get ready.
Right now, we have facilities that are aging. We have an aging infrastructure. We have 2 facilities that are over 30 years old and 2 others that are over 20 years old.
I sat down with Corrections Chief Brian Holt. He told me the new jail will help them tackle things like jail capacity, aging infrastructure, and security, 3 issues that have caused problems in the past. Back in 2010, we told you about 2 different incidents when inmates tried to escape the jail by digging a hole. Just last year, we told you about the jail reviewing its security policy for inmates after one of them smuggled drugs and a syringe to a cell.
It's a constant battle. We're always trying to stop stuff coming into facilities, and people are always trying to beat the system. So we are committed to security and public safety.
Holt says with the growing population comes the increase in inmates. I found out this year alone, the jail currently averages about 873 inmates, a difference from 2013 when it averaged about 60 fewer inmates.
The population.
There's over 900 inmates in Osceola County Jail. I just checked the records. There's over 900. Their capacity is 919. They're at 902. So quarters are tight, and there's a lot of shit that goes on inside that.
Now, speaking of ashes, Lydia, remember Madeline Soto's memorial got taken down. There's only a couple locks left, and Jennifer Soto gave some of the ashes to her dad. She knows she's going to prison. That is a rumor. However, there's no documentation on that. But what's not a rumor is that right before the memorial got taken down, Jennifer Soto can't show up anywhere, really. If she shows up, people are waiting to give her street justice. And so that being said, the aunt went to the memorial and put some things down, picked up the memorial box that was left for her, and took that over to Jen and the family. So the Soto side of the family. And the reason I know that for a fact is because the people that were running the memorial told me, and they showed me the note that Jennifer Soto's aunt brought to and left at the memorial. So there was a box and they could leave notes, and she went there and she wanted to stay as low key as she can so the news wouldn't catch her and all that stuff. So the ashes, the family's probably going to keep them. Grandma and auntie, they're supporting her right now. I don't know why, but they are. And I would even almost bet that if the rumor of Jose Baez being her attorney is not true, that her mom's going to pay for a lawyer, maybe to an extent, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Jen Soto hasn't been arrested yet.
that jail, no doubt. I'm not going to let the rest of this play because they talk about renovations. The renovations never happened. This jail was built in 1986. It's 38 years old, and it was renovated in 1998, 1999. Too effing bad. Stephan Sterns, like someone just said in the chat, he should be under the jail. Without further ado, I got to get to him because he's here in the green room, and he is chomping at the bit. Jumpsuit Pablo, I know him as Paul, his good friend. We got together early on in his YouTube career, and I've been back and forth trying to give him whatever advice I could give him, but he is a talent within himself. Jumpsuit Pablo, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming back, and thank you for being here.
Yes, sir.
And folks, chat is popping. There's 562 people in here. So if I don't see your comment, it's just because I can't pull all 562 comments up. Darlene, thank you. Good to see you back. I haven't seen you in a while. I missed you. And I don't know if Jen's going to take a plea deal. We don't know what's happening with that. I would, if she's not going to get arrested, I would hope that she would testify against Sterns. But I'm glad you all love Jumpsuit. Hope you've seen this. We're going to skip around. We're not going to watch the whole entire thing, but I do want to focus on Stephan Sterns. We want to remember MADELINE SOTO and remember to respect Maddie. She's no longer alive. She was abused for years, and then her life was brutally taken. And before that, she was abused. So Stephan Sterns is the guy right now that's being charged, and this gives you a good idea what's going to happen to him. Jumpsuit always gives you a good idea of that.
Hey, I appreciate you. And like I tell my people, like I tell my subscribers, you're one of the first people, if not the first, who ever had me on their show and gave me a chance back when I first started. And that definitely gave me a good boost. And I'll always be loyal to you. You call me, you check up on me on a personal note. You're a good friend, and I'm always happy to be here.
Thank you so much. Hey, and listen, Jumpsuit, and I don't know if you want me to call you Paul, call you Jumpsuit. I know you don't care.
Anything
really.
you want. Yeah.
So, Paul, just if you can, because some of my audience, listen, we're both in the 300s, right? Congratulations, by the way, 300,000. That's not no bag of shells here for YouTube. As you know, it's not as easy as TikTok and some of the other platforms. You really got to put some effort into it. And you do that. You do a great job with bringing content and entertaining your audience. But
so they're talking about Jumpsuit and entertain, but we want to get into the bulk of it.
So I've been able to talk to some inmates who are currently in there.
Okay, there you go.
So I've been able to talk to some inmates.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about the actual jail Stephan's going to be in and how it's going to be. We showed the love for Jumpsuit Pablo. Most of you are subscribed to him and Ron. They have over 300,000 followers each, so they're big. We know.
Who are currently in there about that, and I have a lot of information to give on that.
Yeah, and when I looked at some of your content, you had done an interview with one of your friends or one of your associates that you have in Osceola County Jail, and I thought it was interesting because he gave some really great insight into the county jail. Just for people that don't know the difference, when you get sentenced after a trial and you're found guilty and you get sentenced, you go to a state prison. So you start out at a county jail, and that's where Stephan Sterns is right now. He's in protective custody, and so many of our subscribers and followers and viewers, they all want to know, what's this guy's day to day? And you went out and you grabbed your a friend and you interviewed him, and you did it so good because you didn't expose him. I know he was all covered up and whatnot, and that's to protect his identity, because contraband cell phones can wind up getting you in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
And before we get into that, folks, and some of you guys may have seen this, but I have commentary on this as we go, and I'm also going to answer your questions. So if you're here, it is hard, Lauren, Wisconsin, I don't listen to Wade's jail calls. Anyway, so I want you to know, if you don't know, New York baby boomer Jose Baez doesn't just love the attention. He loves the money. And I didn't know this. I just learned this. So Jose Baez, what he does with Casey Anthony, and that's another case in Florida. So what he does is he represents them for free, pro bono, but he gets the rights to their case. So any movie that's made about them, any book, anything that's making revenue, he takes the revenue from that case. And that's how he's able to defend people. Like, was he Scott Peterson as well? Zach, am I correct? I know it's Casey Anthony. Anyway, Jose Baez, do not tell me he is still practicing, and he does it for the rights. Instead of getting paid, he gets paid way more by the rights. And I did not know that. I did not know that he profits off of the case and the victim. So Marcy says no, but yeah, it's clever. I was like, wait, what? People in Florida know the Casey Anthony case, told me about that and how he operates. We can look it up.
It may not give you extra time, but if that contraband cell phone leads to some other illicit activities, you could get additional time onto your sentence. So as it pertains to Stephan Sterns, do these prisoners that are in the county jail, in Osceola County Jail, did they know when he was coming there, hey, we got a pedo coming in here? And how do inmates feel about perps like this? And I can call him a perpetrator. He's innocent until proven guilty, but he molested, and it's alleged that he molested poor MADELINE SOTO from single-digit years into up to 13 when he murdered her. So many years he was sexually molesting her and wound up ultimately killing her, murdering her. How do inmates...
By the way, we're going to cover some more Scott Peterson since the judge allowed. So I was wrong. It wasn't Jose, but Jose did cover Casey Anthony. Scott Peterson is finally getting a shot to maybe have a new trial, and I want to cover that. He's actually doing a Peacock documentary, folks. So when you ask how inmates profit, it's not the inmate that's profiting. It's the undead ramen. It's the attorney that can profit because he's not an inmate. He's not the person that did the crime. He's a dirty player. Yeah, Darlene Wolf, you're right. So we do have Scott Peterson on the docket to cover because, well, Modesto was my hometown for a long time, and I was there when it happened. So I'm interested in the case, and I'd love for him not to get off. And you know what? Amber Fry said that she would be there if they have a new trial, and she'll make sure that he gets convicted again because she believes he's guilty.
Receive somebody like that, because there is a lot of misconceptions out there. There's some people that think it's a fallacy. It's not true. You know, they're going to welcome him with open arms. Your thoughts on that?
Right. Well, I'll say they probably didn't know as soon as he arrived in the jail. Maybe they didn't know exactly who he is. But I'm going to tell you what it is. Inmates, they religiously, I don't care where you're at or what jail it is or what state, they religiously watch that news when it comes on. And a lot of times you'll see somebody on the news, and 2 hours later, that same person you just saw on the news is coming in your cell block. And so people love to watch the news in there. And so there's no doubt, you know, at some point, probably not long after he got there, they're aware of who he is and where he's at. And now they know he's in this jail. And let me tell you something, inmates, you know, they'll spend 6 months, a year, 18 months, 2 years. I myself spent 2 years in a county jail awaiting trial. They'll spend some time in there when they got serious enough charges. My point is they're there long enough to know how to maneuver and navigate and get information and make friendly with the corrections officers, and just they can find out anything they want to find out. That's the point. They know where he is and they know where he's at. Now, as far as his charges, I think a lot of people feel like, oh, well, who are inmates to judge? This inmate, you know, what he did is awful, but everyone in there is awful. Everyone in there is a criminal. They all committed crimes. And I understand that. But if you want the truth, you have to accept and acknowledge the fact that most of these people live a different lifestyle and they operate under different rules. And there is a hierarchy, whether you like it or not. There's a hierarchy when it comes to criminals in jail and criminals in prison. And some things are not accepted. Many things are accepted. Drugs, guns, robberies, burglaries, murders. You know, there's some things that are over the line, even for these criminals. That's just the way it works. That's just how it is. You know, what Stephan Sterns has done violates. It's crossed the line. These guys don't like him. They don't like what he's done, and they're not okay with it. Right. That's just the facts. And so the thing is, he's going to be held separate. Number one, because he's so infamous. This is a high profile case. That's just one in itself. But even if he wasn't, it's, and I know you have a friend who's a corrections officer who makes appearances on here very often, and he has the book.
I mean, you guys could put in chat as much animosity that you have for Jen Soto. What do you think would happen to Stephan Sterns if he was put into the population of just general population with these criminals that would never think about doing these type of crimes, or hearing about how Maddie was so heavily violated until her life was taken by Stephan Sterns? What do you think? I mean, these inmates, yeah, they're all doing crimes, but there's a hierarchy to what you do and what you don't do. Like Jeffrey Dahmer definitely crossed the line with them on many levels, racial, especially racial boundaries. Like I was telling you about Reverend Sharpton getting into that. So, all right, let's just think about what would happen. And Darlene wants him and Wade Wilson together. Absolutely. I'd love Wade Wilson to make Stephan Sterns his bitch. Wade Wilson plays everybody, and I can't understand why. I don't understand what appeal Wade Wilson has.
Here talk, you know, he's a good guy. I've been on here with him before. I bet he can attest to this fact. People feel like, why would they separate these guys? You know, even the corrections officers, they're human, they're men, man to man. You should just let them be fed to the wolves.
Yep.
The thing is,
they have children too.
Right. The thing is, that's their job, is to protect the inmates. And when you have an inmate who is at an obvious, much higher risk of being violently harmed than the average inmate, and that isn't always someone with child charges or things like that. That could be just a young ex-gang member who snitched on some other gang members. Doesn't have anything to do with kids. He's at a higher risk of being harmed than anyone else. But that also applies to someone who has child charges, because that's the way it works. When you have an inmate who is at a higher risk of being harmed, it's their job to protect them. And if they don't do that, if they knowingly and willingly put them in situations where they know they're going to be harmed and beat up and injured and have their bones broken and just severely harmed, they can be held liable. There can be a lawsuit. They can be sued. They can be, there can be huge ramifications for them. And it's, that's not worth it to them. They have their own lives to live and families to feed, and they have to do their job. And so Stephan Sterns right now, he's going to be kept away from the inmates who want to harm him. But that may change once he gets down to prison, where there's a huge difference.
Yeah, and that's a big difference, because I've been in New York State in the prison system. I've been upstate New York. I've been to Sing Sing and all these older jails, and they call prisoners convicts up there. They don't call them prisoners; they call them convicts. The fact of the matter is most correction officers, a great majority of them, want to do their job and not be held accountable for a death of another inmate, because their job is to keep them alive, to bring them to trial. I'm talking about jails now. Right. In the jail system, he is in protective custody. What many people say is there ever opportunities, because as you know, when you're doing time goes by so slow, and every little detail, I'm talking about as an inmate, every little detail, shift changes, what corrections officers are cool, which ones go by the book, which ones will give a little extra leeway.
Yeah, now Stephan Sterns is not in a hurry to get to prison, because it's going to be a big change, folks, and he is going to prison, but it's going to be a huge change, and it is completely different from county, where county is actually worse to general population people, because it's people that don't give a shit. They're passing through and they have nothing to care about, right? So, but he's in protective custody right now by himself, and as we've seen, Stephan Sterns is worried about his origami books. He's worried about his his fantasy stuff, the books, is all the books and things, that is his root beer candy and his coffee. That's what he's worried about right now. So he doesn't want to get to prison. I don't know what's worse for him. Solitary confinement seems to be just fine for him right now. Fish hopper, actually, but I think they'll never put him in general population. No way. Maybe accidentally. He'll be a prison bitch till mom and dad stop filling his commissary. Satan Sterns. Yes, that's who we're talking about today. I'll put that below.
Which ones are straight shooters and which ones aren't? And correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm going into the wrong area here. Inmates know when they have a small slither of opportunity, and that's all it takes. And I want you to talk a little bit about that, because we talk about shanks and some of the homemade weapons that are inside these prisons. You see contraband cell checks going on. We did that, I think, on our last live that you and I got together on. Is it possible, even in protective custody, for Stephan Sterns to be walking to go get a shower, or walking to go get a meal, and to have that little bit of an opportunity? Is it a possibility?
Absolutely. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. You're absolutely right about that. It doesn't take but the blink of an eye. And you know what? Mistakes happen. Mistakes are mistakes. And sometimes they're genuine mistakes, and sometimes they're not so genuine mistakes. But they happen. And like you said, it only takes a blink of an eye. I don't care. They call it protective custody, isolation, solitary confinement. You can use any word or any synonym you want to make it sound that this guy is just as singular as it gets, and just far away, locked away from any human contact as it gets. There's always a chance. If somebody wants to harm him bad enough, there is always a chance. And that's just a fact. It can happen at the chow, when he's getting his tray. It can happen during the showers, when he's cuffed up. It can happen if he needs to go get pills at medical. It can happen, there's many opportunities, and that's what people don't realize. That's the thing that's not talked about. But all the inner workings of jail, and how many inmates do get these jobs where they get to be around these other type of inmates who are supposed to be isolated. Right. If they get paid enough.
That's what I want to talk about today too. Is that we're going back and forth, but I want to talk about Stephan Sterns and going to prison. It's going to be a while. Anybody that knows the law, and you're looking at crimes like this, the magnitude of facing the death penalty, they will put as many obstacles, their defense attorneys will put as many obstacles in the way to stretch it out as long as they can. So Crad, remember, you're right. He probably won't see the inside of a prison for a long time. He has 2 trials and he's going to put them off as long as he can. So when people think that it's going to happen on October 14th or whatever date that was that we saw earlier, more than likely not. They're going to continue that hearing. He's not going to show up. He doesn't shower very often, Rosie, and he prefers to just stay in his cell, not shower. He's a dirty, sick. Well, we know. Now, think about this, though. Jennifer Soto also cannot be out in the wild as well. She has to hide no matter what. So she didn't go to her daughter's funeral. She didn't go to the, she never went to her memorial. She didn't go to the, what we live stream here. I can't even think right now, my brain, but the memorial, there was Tyler and Tatiana went and spoke. Jen Soto didn't show up for anything. I'm not even sure how if the ashes were hand delivered to her and where. And the only time that we've ever spotted Jennifer Soto out in the wild was one of the neighbors got her on their Ring cam footage pacing back and forth, and then she was gone. So Jen Soto cannot walk around or go anywhere. It's kind of like a Casey Anthony thing. If she doesn't get convicted for some reason, or she doesn't go to court or whatever, good luck for her. And I'm not saying that in a good way. They will push the trial for that long. Most capital cases take 2 to 5 years to get to trial. Now, I'm not saying it's going to take 5 years, but look at every capital case and big cases, 2 years minimum. Anybody here that's in law enforcement? Darlene, tell me what you think. It takes a while to get to a trial for something like that. And what's up, Avis? All right, let's hear about his prison conditions and Jen's conditions. She's locked somewhere, folks. She's not going grocery shopping. She's not out doing things. She can put a wig on as much as she wants and do whatever she wants, but people know who Jen Soto is.
If they just feel emotionally strongly enough about that, or just anything.
Right.
So if somebody wants to, they can get them. They can.
And we could talk also about some other ways that inmates can really send a message to Stephan Sterns without directly coming into contact with him. And I have a whole list of stuff here. It would take us 2 hours to go over all the questions and all the things that we could talk about. But I want to try to get to some of these higher point bulletin points that I have written down here. Food services. Who prepares the foods in the prison jail system?
Inmates.
And who feeds the food to Stephan Sterns?
Inmates prepare the food. They bake the food. They prepare the trays. If you're supposed to get a certain tray, if you're in lockup isolation and this tray is supposed to go with you, they actually take a Sharpie and write your last name and your inmate number on top of it, so they know exactly who it's going to. And it's the inmates who deliver the tray to you. So there are, if you use your imagination, there are some very vile possibilities that could take place and do take place.
I will tell you, a trigger warning, and thank you, Sin, for putting that in the chat. And listen, whenever we have a conversation like this, it's a blanket trigger warning if you suffer from PTSD or any type of shocking. But this is shocking as it pertains to a shocking, sick, vile monster. Somebody who's a predator, a child predator. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about Stephan Sterns, who, and in the opening of the show here, he is a
That's interesting. Millie, her grandmother, and when you say her grandmother, I guess the only grandmother we're talking about is Yolanda Zambrano, was the one that picked up her school, her yearbook, when they put her picture in. Wow. And I don't know how you know that, but I know a lot of locals know a lot of things. And a lot of the locals tell me a lot of stories about things that they know that's going on in and around the courthouse, because they visit the courthouse often. You got to remember that these people that are there, that go to the courthouse and are trying to change the laws for Maddie and trying to do things, they see things, they hear things from people, they know where they have a good idea where Jen is and what's going on, but they don't want to talk about it publicly. They'll talk about it privately, but they say, hey, you can't. Hey, this is between you and me, and that's all you can say. You can't say my name, and you can't even say what I just said. And I'm like, hey, I'll just wait till it comes out. It's all good. I'm not hungry for not that hungry to be telling your stuff that you told me not to. So, and you don't ever, no one has to say that anyway, but it's a good idea if you don't want someone reporting on your stuff, just say, hey, this is confidential between you and I, uneducated and unexperienced. I love you all. I'm glad you guys are paying attention today, and I hope that you now can go look for yourselves. We just hit 555, which is another angel number for Maddie. We don't want to forget about her, because in between the time that we wait for things to happen, sometimes we forget about the victims and we start focusing on a bunch of rumors. So let's not do that. That's the way it's going in Texas with the Stephan Soto and baby Fabian and Matthew Guerra capital murder case. They keep putting it off and off. And I'd love to report on that one. That was, oh, you remember the perp walk, Lydia? Oh, that was disgusting.
Pledged to do heinous things to a poor 13-year-old girl, and maybe, God forbid, others that we don't know about. And the charges that he's charged with, and this is the effed up part about this whole thing, is that the charges he's charged with are just what he took pictures of and videos on his cell phone. What about all the times that he assaulted this girl and he didn't record it? What about the times that they don't have already on them because there was zip drives, external drives, and all of this crazy amount of digital evidence that was recovered in all of these documents that I'm reading? And trust me, Paul, I read these documents front to back. I know a lot of people aren't concerned about reading them, but as a retired detective, I want to do my due diligence. I want to see what this scumbag was up to. And so his charges are based on what they got and extracted from his phone and maybe his cloud and maybe some other things. But what about the times that he just didn't have the phone handy, or he just didn't want to record what he was doing and just wanted to have his way? So we're talking about a vile human being here. The food that's served to the inmates, and I'm going to tell you this, I worked in the trip team. I used to pick up inmates from other jurisdictions and bring them back to New York City. So I would go to Pennsylvania, Connecticut, the tri-state area, and I would fly to Texas. I'd fly to Florida. So I would go all over the United States. And when I would bring these prisoners back, they would be like, thank God I'm coming back to Rikers Island. And I'd go, why? And they go, the food was so bad. The guys used to spit in it. They used to sperm in it. They used to defecate in it. It was like, I almost couldn't believe what I was hearing, but it brings it right to the forefront here. Right. Stephan Sterns, he's a prime candidate for inmates who are preparing the food to say, you know what, this is a pedo, and this is a vile guy. How can we get him back?
And I know for a fact that happens. I even have a video on my profile. This is probably when I first started a year and a half ago. And the guy, you can actually Google this. His name is Michael Brown in South Carolina Department of Corrections, Tiger River Correctional Institution, Tiger, Tyger. He was poisoned. Yeah. His tray was poisoned, and he didn't have any charges like we're talking about with Stephan Sterns. He was actually a very dangerous inmate. He was more dangerous than most. He was very aggressive. He liked to put knives to people's neck. He was very intimidating and very violent and just very aggressive.
I'll pause it for just a second, because I do believe what Pablo's saying. He knows, he's been in there, and you guys could imagine when you're out or anybody's out in jail or prison, these guys don't have anything to lose. Number one. Number two, they have nothing but hate for somebody like that. Yeah, his food. I don't know which case you're talking about, but the cases that are online, that are things that are made public, all you have to do is look for a case number and go to the county website. That's for anybody. And yeah, Christopher Greger, we showed that last time, what he did to that little boy, to Corey Michelow, may he rest in peace. Yeah, Christopher Greger, we saw he got a ship bomb. So justice will be served for Maddie, but it is coming slow. And even Stephan Sterns is already arrested. It's going to come slow. Yeah, Summer Wells I don't think they'll ever find her. That's a mess. That's a huge mess. The 3 in Florida. Yeah. So Lady Justice, the 3 in Florida you're referring to, if you have names, we find the case number and we look it up. So it just depends on what it is, but everything's public information. How do you think that we get the information? How do you think Duty Ron's able to report on it? Or especially Plunder, Paula from Plunder True Crime. She's in there filling out documents. It's public information, folks. So yeah, Sabrina with Harmony. When we see the blank appearance of Maddie at 12 and her vibrant expression at 13, it shows the influence Stephan Sterns' presence, right, from 8 to 13. That sucks. he got 25 years and he's got about 19 and a half left. So hopefully that makes him, hopefully it's not any good time at all. Hopefully he has all bad days.
And people were terrified of him to the point where they needed to get rid of him. And he went to solitary confinement. He got caught with a knife. He went to solitary. He didn't make it there one night. The next morning he was done. He ate a tray, a food tray, and it was over.
Food poisoning.
They poisoned him. And it wasn't even because of his charges, it was because he was just so intimidating and so dangerous and violent, and people were so scared of him, they had to get him out of there, and they killed him. So they absolutely will poison, spit, and everything you just mentioned in a tray of a guy who did something against children. Because again, and people, a lot of the comments I get are, well, who are they to, who are inmates to judge another inmate for doing that? They're in there for their own crimes. I understand that. And I understand that perspective. But if you want the truth of what goes on in prison, you have to understand and acknowledge that these inmates have a wide array of crimes that, we're all more or less in here for, and we're okay. That's part of the lifestyle we live, and we don't really have any bias towards that. And then there's some things that we're just absolutely not okay with. And a lot of these guys, even though it's
Melissa Johnson, what's up, girl? I hope you're doing well. And we don't know what's going on with Jen. Today we're talking about Stephan Sterns and remembering Madeline Soto in the best light possible and not re-victimizing the victims who are now the family that remains. Now Maddie's a victim, but which Maddie want us saying things, ludicrous things. Another ludicrous thing that has no weight to it is that the Santa thing, or whatever that guy's name is, something Cox. People are trying to relate Stephan Sterns and Santa and show how they could be connected, and maybe he took Maddie over to Santa's house and whatever. I don't think that's the case. I believe the police in the press conference ruled out that that this case has not been tied with anything else and there are no other victims involved, aka that Santa guy in Florida, if you know what I'm talking about. Has nothing to do with Stephan Sterns, in my opinion. Until police say otherwise, I wouldn't even go there. Freedom of information, FOIA. It's a Public Information Act. All of us, that we all have the capability to get it, folks. That's what we're here for. And when we're reporting on it, we're not just making stuff up. There's nobody telling us. We either get it from other content creators that get it from the website, or we get it from the website ourselves. It depends. There's different ways to get it. But yeah, Millie, you're right. With inmates, there are lines you do not cross. With children, they don't play and you get handled, especially if you get out into general population. It's not going to be good. And Madeline didn't deserve this, but she will get justice. I hope Summer and Sebastian do too. So do I. But remember, I'm not reporting on these because there's nothing to report on, and there are other people that need help. Right now, I wanted to bring this up about Stephan Sterns, and I wanted to let you all know that the trial's probably not going to happen. There's a thing about being optimistic and then being realistic. And see you later, L. Price. Love you too. So we're being realistic, and I don't think that the trial is going to happen. It says there's a hearing. The hearing will happen probably, and it will be an empty screen again. When I go to look for the hearing and find Sterns at the hearing, we're just not going to see him. Cox is Santa. Yeah. All right. But I don't hold any weight to that Stephan Sterns had anything to do with those guys.
It's their own fault they're in there. It's their own fault they don't see their families. It's their own fault their girl leaves them. It's their own fault they don't get to see their children. That hurts them. That hurts them. They don't get to see their kids. They don't get to see their daughter. They don't get to talk to them. They don't get to have a relationship with them. And then they see some guy come in there and who's done something to a little girl, a little boy, something, and it triggers them and it reminds them, and they will get furious, and they will get you for that. They will.
And I got to tell you, this brings a lot of people in the chat. And I can see people in the chat are just happy to hear this, because it couldn't happen to a better person. Look,
right.
You don't say, all right, just the average person that's in there for maybe 2 DWIs, and those are felonies. First one's, second one's a DWI. Repeat, minor offenses where they get put in for a small bid. You don't want to see that happen to those folks. But at the end of the
and thank you, Judy Doll. She's thanking me and the mods for everything we do, and that includes Wolfpack, Petty Mason, Carly, Bree, and JoJo. All of you all are amazing, and yeah, I love every single one of you that support. Whoever does connections between Cox and Stephan Sterns, it's already been done before as well. I've seen it. I saw it on GHI's channel, aka Gray Pubes. I saw that. I've seen the videos. I don't hold any weight to it, and I'm not going to do a video on it because, in my opinion, it's been ruled out at this point that there's nothing happening with that case. So I don't want to start bringing that up into Maddie's case. So yeah, it's just not there. The paperwork's not there, and it's not, if the paperwork's not there and you can't show me a receipt, then it doesn't exist.
The day somebody like this, I sleep good at night knowing that this is part of the prison justice and jailhouse justice system,
Right.
and it doesn't necessarily always have to wind up in death. However, it does in particular moments at particular times. And we could go down, like I started to compile a list today of just here in New York at Rikers Island, how many inmates die in prison. And it's a lot. A lot happens during the course of a year here in just New York City alone. And Rikers Island is the largest municipal jail system in the country.
Yeah.
So, or one of the largest. I wanted to get your thoughts on, this is only 2 minutes, and I don't like to waste our time with playing these clips, but Stephan Sterns early on was transported from Orange County, where he was locked up for one night. And this guy was the biggest puss. He was talking about being cold, and he was talking about a mattress and using toilet paper to sleep on. He sounds like the biggest and excuse me, ladies, I'm not saying this to be crude or rude. He sounds like the biggest pussy that is out there. I mean, the things that he was complaining to this corrections officer, and he was the transporting officer for Osceola County. He went from Osceola to Orange to pick him up, knowing full well he had been charged with these 60 counts of lewd and lascivious molestation of MADELINE SOTO. Didn't know that her body wasn't recovered at that time, Paul, but he knew no corrections officer that goes and picks up somebody and transports them does not get the full printout of what his charges are. It's a security issue. You need to know who you're transporting, how dangerous this person is, what his charges are. It's part of security and safety. This guy talked to him like he was his best friend. And I had a real big problem with that, because I'm not saying to be mean and treat the guy like a subhuman, but you don't need to talk to him the way this guy was talking to him. I want to get your thoughts as a former inmate of when you saw that video from the perspective that I'm presenting to you. Did you think it was appropriate this guy was talking about classical music and
Yeah, remember when Stephan Sterns was being transported? Anyway, Ophelia, you can look this up because I don't want to take the time on. I don't want to spend much time on this. I know I mentioned it, but in St. Cloud, Florida, a Florida man known as Santa and his son have been accused of essaying children in their neighborhood and creating child pee after authorities raided their home. So you could just look up Santa in Florida. All right. And then, just look up Santa in Florida, and the last name is Cox. You could look up COX, Santa, Florida, but I've never covered that case and I don't plan on it. So let's keep going.
Cough drops and all that bullshit. I mean, what were your thoughts on that?
I know the exact video you're talking about, and I'll tell you now. Now, first of all, just to address just how big of a puss he is about that. He's such a puss. Dude, you're complaining about your bed not being soft enough, your blanket not being thick enough, and your pillow not being feathery enough. I mean, shut up, dude. I did 10 years for crimes that are nowhere near what you did, and I was sleeping on a metal bunk. I had to wad up my dirty clothes just to make a makeshift pillow. I got ate up by bed bugs every morning. I'd pick up a bag of my chips that I paid for. There'd be a big hole in them with chips falling out because rats have eaten through them. And that's where you're at now, buddy. And you better get used to it, and you better suck it up. And this is what happens when you do what you did. So you better get used to it and better quit complaining. But
and just before we play that clip real quick, they confiscated 4 phones. It didn't say this is Jen Soto's phone, but we saw the evidence. We went over the evidence files, and there were 4 phones that they got, and they gave the description and everything. So yeah, I'm sure one of them was her phone they took. I can't imagine that they didn't take her phone. All right. Thank you for making our children's voices heard. My heart hurts for all of our children. God bless all the crew that helps to get this story out. Love and respect. Cleveland and Zurich. Thank you. All right. Let's watch this clip of Whiny Baby. Ugh, this guy's gross. And yes, Stephan Sterns has a brother that changes his last name to Starns, so he's not associated, but I mean, he didn't do anything, but I bet he's getting a good taste of what's going to happen in the future.
But As far as the way this officer talked to him, I agree. He definitely didn't have to be that nice, and a lot of people were upset that he was that nice. I want to try to put myself in his mindset and in his shoes and understand why he was so cordial with him. I can only imagine that, if I'm coming up with things for him to justify it, I imagine maybe he knows this is a high profile guy. Maybe he doesn't want to even come close to mistreating him or having any type of ill will towards him to where that could affect the case in any way. I don't know if that's possible. That's not, that's more your area of expertise than mine, but that's what maybe he's just, that's how he detaches himself. I know officers have to emotionally kind of detach themselves from these things and not take that home with them. And because y'all guys see such awful things that, just very, affect you very much emotionally. And maybe that's how he has to approach this situation, just to not take that home to his family with him and just kind of all the way detached from that. But that's just my own assumptions. I don't know. But he definitely didn't have to be that nice to him, because this guy definitely doesn't deserve it.
He was way too nice, Paul. And I did hundreds, arguably. And my former coworker was just in the chat. I highlighted her. Amazing aunt. We worked together when I was in fugitive enforcement, and I picked up arguably thousands of inmates from different jurisdictions. And yes, I didn't treat them like subhumans. I treated them the way I'd want to be treated in the same circumstance. Hey, do you need something to drink for the ride? Because sometimes I'd have 2-hour rides. Do you want me to grab you a bag of chips or something for the ride? No. I'd even stop and let them smoke because I had 2 people with me. Wow. So it was like 3 of us. So we would actually let them get out with the chains on the legs and shackled in the front, and we'd let them smoke at like a rest area. We'd have state police come.
And good night, Christina. I figured a lot of people would have seen this, but I'm playing parts of it because, well, we're talking now. We're going over this. In the very first hour we went over the case number and the case link and tried to debunk some of the things that you heard. So good night to you. Thank you for coming here. Don't forget to hit that like on the way out. And is anyone here subscribed? Yeah, we're all subscribed to Jumpsuit Pablo, probably. He does the kind of content that he's doing on here. He talks to inmates. He has inside information on inmates. And he'll get the lowdown on, like, right now he's covering Wade Wilson. All right, cops allow them to have a cigarette. They can't anymore. Yeah, Duty Ron is retired. I should give 5 memberships right now.
And back us up. So we would do stuff like that. But if the person was a monstrous murderer, and they didn't know he was a murderer, but they knew he was a child molester, they knew that he had all of these charges against him, that's where it made me really not feel good about it, because you can, like, you don't want to have any problems with the guy. You want to just have like a smooth transaction. I want to get him from point A to point B. And as a matter of fact,
but you could have just been silent. You could have just not been silent. Hey, you didn't have to be mean. Yeah. You don't have to be so nice.
When he said, "You want me to turn the heat on?" I was okay with that, even though I was like, "Fuck this guy." And excuse my language, sorry guys, but I would have said that. I would have been like, "Hey, you want me to?" And I would have done that. But then that would have been it. I would have either slammed that thing closed or left it open just a little bit, and I wouldn't have had that conversation. But that's just me. Again, I know that sheriff knew exactly what his charges were up until that point, and the murder charges didn't happen until that Friday. They were transporting him, I think, on Thursday, and then Friday they found her body. But let's just take a look at this so people can get a little bit of a throw up in your mouth kind of concept right now. So this is him transporting. It's only 2 minutes.
5:30 tonight. We are now seeing Stephan Sterns for the very first time since he was arrested. He's the boyfriend of MADELINE Soto's mother and the prime suspect in her murder. Fox 35's Hannah McKenzie joins us live from the Alert Center tonight. So Hannah, in the video, Sterns has a casual conversation with the deputy.
Yeah, Marlisa, the two talk about temperature inside the patrol.
I also want to point out to the live chat. He knows that the body cam footage from the dashboard, he actually engages it when he gets in there. And then when he gets to the location at Osceola County Jail, there's reporters waiting there. And he does another thing that was either ordered to do it by his superiors or he just did it on his own. He backed out so the cameras couldn't get him again at Osceola County Jail and went into a gated sally port. And you see it in the reflection of this glass right here. On this part of the petition, you see the metal gate go up, and he takes them in so the reporters can't get a visual of him. And I'm going to show you that at the end. And that was another thing that I don't know if he was ordered to do that or if he did it on the fly. But he saw that they were waiting for him. He was backing in, and then there was like 5 or 6 reporters there, and he just got on the radio, came back in the car, and then talked to the control room and had them open up the sally port so he can get in there without having cameras stuck in his face. I would have been like, "Oh, yep, you're going straight in. Get out. Just get out right here. Here we go."
And I agree with that. We're going to see it right now. I didn't even notice that. I didn't notice that he did that. But if you guys all watch the perp walks when someone gets arrested, I didn't even realize until recently that they had perpetrator walks. So the perp walks are when after somebody gets arrested, and it's just a perp walk where the press gets to see who the people are that got arrested for the crime. It's crazy. And I wouldn't have shielded him. I would have let him I would have thrown him to the wolves. I would have been like, go for it.
Patrol car, even which cough drops they like. This video was taken from inside the deputy's SUV as Sterns was being transported from the Orange County Jail to the Osceola County Jail. The 27-minute drive is quiet for the most part, but within the first few minutes, Sterns can be heard complaining about how hard it was to sleep in jail. Take a listen.
Could regulate sleeping on bare metal. The first night I was on a concrete floor with a roll of toilet paper for pillow and nothing else. Like for a blanket or pad to sleep on for like 2 days.
This mother.
Now, what's important to point out.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah.
Don't you know that this sheriff knows exactly what conditions?
It was, you know, I saw this when it first came out, and I thought it was so funny that he was acting like he couldn't believe that's, you know, how they treat inmates, you know, when you know the whole time that's how it goes.
I mean, I would just be like, hey, dude, you're in jail.
Yeah.
You know, you're in jail, and the charges against you are pretty serious.
There's going to be a whole lot of requesting, a whole lot of begging, and a whole lot of asking, brother. You better get used to it. That's going to be the rest of your life, basically, most likely.
Let's talk about your connection and the conversation. I'll take this off the screen. The conversation that you had with your buddy. You asked him some specific questions. I don't want to play that, but I'm going to tell people. I'm going to link it in the description here if that's all right with you. If you.
Yeah, and you guys can go after and watch the transporter. I believe, you know, I would never say anything bad about him. He seemed like a good-hearted guy, and yeah, he was just being human. But you know, we want to be good people, so a lot of people wouldn't do it that way. And thank you, Marilyn McRae. At the beginning of the show, I was very not as lighthearted, because when it comes to disgusting things being said about the Maddie case and people using it for terrible purposes, it's just not okay. It's not okay. Just think about if that was your daughter. All right, let's listen to more, and then I'll look at the timestamps to see what we're talking about here. And you guys are all here, so we have over 500 people in chat. So it means that you're in. We're chatting, we're talking, we're answering questions. Let's keep it going.
You want to go and watch the full interview? I think it was like, I don't know. You made it nice and short. It was like, what, 17 minutes?
Yeah, it was about 8 minutes.
Yeah, 8 minutes. Right. So, just talk to the audience a little bit about your maybe some of the stuff that you didn't put on the video. You asked specific questions about Stephan Sterns,
right.
About, you know, his care and custody and how he was going to be received. And basically, your guy said that he was going to be made into their bitch. Sort of.
Oh yeah. You know, of course, I do a lot of assessments about people like this, who are widely covered and you know, have a court case going on. And there's a couple areas I always try to hit when it comes down to what is their experience most likely going to be when they get to prison. And of course, the best way to do that, every prison in every state all across the country is different. And so the best way to figure that out is, number one, just go to someone who's in that prison. So luckily I was able to have a source who was in Florida prisons. And he told me, you know, at first I wanted to ask him, do y'all even know who this guy is? Are you aware of him? Have y'all been watching the news? You know, are inmates already expecting him? And pretty much what he told me, if you listen to the video, they know who he is, they are expecting him, and they don't like what he's done one bit, as you can imagine. And so moving past that, we know they don't like his charges. I said, what is the probability? Because I touched on this a bit already, but one thing people really got to know, you know, again, these people who deserve the most to have something happen to them in prison for what they're in there for, they're the ones who are most likely going to be, they do have a good chance of being protected by the staff to where they're put and housed within that prison in an area with, like, you know, similar charges, people, to where no one's going to attack each other for those charges. But that's not always true. That's not just cut and dry how it works. And so I asked him, you know, what's the likelihood that he does come in general population? And what's the likelihood that he doesn't? And he said, you know, it is possible. Maybe what's more working in his favor than his charges, as far as keeping him out of general population, is his notoriety. This guy is widely covered. He's all over the news. That alone
So Jumpsuit Pablo gets the inside information because he was an inmate for 10 years, folks. I think he'd be a great seller. Yeah, he probably would, this guy. So I didn't realize how credible he was. But then when you know Duty Ron and you know his content and how respectful he is and credible, and you see him bringing Pablo on or Oblivious Benson, it gives you a good sense of who they are. So guilty of crime, you say, do you know that Duty is live? I didn't know that right now, but don't make people jump off, girl. I didn't know that. They can, I'm not going to put it, I am going to put it live right now. I mean, what, killing me.
Might keep him in, they usually it's called protective custody. They have something called PM, protective management, down there.
Yeah.
And the thing about that is, they can keep, usually in protective custody, they can keep you there only for a certain amount of time. And then they have to let you go back into Gen Pop. Protective management, they can override that and keep you there as long as they want, even if you're against it. But there is a chance he could go into general population. And basically, if he does.
Carrie, I love you, but they're talking about Wade Wilson. And right now, I don't want to talk about Wade Wilson at all, but love you, love you, love you. And the baby has got a fever. She spiked a fever back up. I came home, gave her some chicken noodle soup and oranges for her so she could have some vitamin C. So they're talking about Wade Wilson. Wade Wilson gives me a headache a bit. I know I have to report on him again, but right now I want to give to MADELINE SOTO because I'm probably not going to be on for a while about her until something comes out. Thank you, Sunshine. Thank you.
He, the inmate, he told me, it's not like kind of how you may think if you've seen the movies and TV shows, like as soon as he sets foot in the cell block, they're just kind of swarm him and just put metal all through his body. It's not necessarily going to be that. They're going to look for how can we make this how can we make this inmate service us? How can he benefit us? How can he improve our lives? How can we, like you said, pretty much make him our bitch and find any and every way for him to do what we want him to do to improve our lives. And the second, if you do that, you're fine. But the second you want to even think about having a backbone, having a pair of balls, having a bit of guts, standing up, going against that, we're going to beat you. We're going to beat you into submission. And they will. They will.
You know what's better than one mom or one super mom? Two moms. Just so you know. I always say hashtag 2 moms are better than 1. And trust me, they are. It's great having a shift, a double shift. You got 2 moms. One mom gets to go to work. The kid's sick. The other mom stays with the kid, babies her, and then the other mom comes back. So, yes, 2 moms are better than 1. Justice for Maddie. Again, I have a daughter that is going to be 10, and I cannot imagine anything of this magnitude happening like that. I don't even want to think about that. So, but it's sensitive to me, this subject, this topic, and keeping Maddie's integrity intact as we go through this process. And yeah, any mom is better than having none. You lost yours at 11, and prayers for you. I hope that you had somebody really good in your life. Any mom is better than none, and 2 moms are better than 1. All right, let's keep going.
We'll beat him into submission. So what he's going to be doing, he'll probably be washing clothes for the high profile inmates. Any money he gets on his canteen, he'll be given a list of canteen, a specific list of what he needs to order for other inmates, and he'll order that, and then he'll take that back to the inmates, and they might let him keep a Snicker bar and we
know he'll be emailing mommy and daddy to put money on the book.
They will apply pressure to him. Anyone you have, any loved one in your life, you need to get on there and you need to tell them, I don't care what you tell them, but you better tell them something to get some money on your books. And what you do, here's what you need to order. Bring it to me. I might let you have a soup. I might let you have a Snicker bar.
Mm-hmm. Here's the thing too. This facility has a capacity of 919 inmates total. If all the cells are functioning, and I know that a lot of these cells get condemned or they get shut down.
Yep.
Some of them that have mold, some of them have stuff. So with the situation.
Yeah, it's interesting, Simon. I appreciate everybody's opinion, but the people that are heavily into this case and in law enforcement in Florida don't agree that Jen is off the hook in any capacity. So she still has to be there to testify. She still has to be there with her lawyer to answer questions. She's not, they haven't cleared Jen Soto. So being off the hook, let's say she never even got arrested and she goes Casey Anthony style. Jen Soto is never going to be off the hook for this. And the 2 crimes that we know about for sure, because she's done it to our face, she said it to our face, was child neglect and obstruction of justice, when she lied and scripted the story with Stephan Sterns, the abuser of her child and ultimate murderer. So I don't think she's off the hook. And I truly, in my heart, and not just my gut, my heart, whatever, it's me talking to people in the community and law enforcement. So I don't think so. I'm not buying that.
That's happening here in Osceola County. 902 inmates as of yesterday. Some come and some go. You know, some get released. It's like every day the numbers change. You got incoming, you got outgoing, but it's 902 inmates, and basically that is that's like a hotel that's at capacity. You know, so they're busting at the seams, and the opportunity for mistakes to happen, or for the opportunity to have that one little moment, is high in this type of situation.
I'll tell you what happens, at least in my experience, what they're going to do before they just let people go to minimize that capacity. They're not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They have something called, we used to call them coffins. They call them stacker bunks, but they have something called coffins. And they're these makeshift, like hard plastic, they look like coffins. That's why they call them that. But, you know, hard plastic, body sized, you know, little things that you drag into a cell, and you can put a mat, it's like a karate mat, very crude, uncomfortable mat. You put it in that, and that's what you sleep on, and you put it on the floor. And you might have 2-3 inmates in a cell. You reach maximum capacity. Now they're bringing inmates in, and they're going to give you a coffin, and you're just going to put it on the floor. And if somebody has to pee or use the bathroom, you'll have to drag your bed out of the way and stand up and let them pee. You know, they'll let you get crowded. They don't care. They'll let you get crowded. And like you said, you get crowded, people start getting put in places where they ain't supposed to be. People start getting stacked up in cells where they normally wouldn't be put at. And
I'm going to give you some hope here, folks, for those of you. And thank you, Lauren from Wisconsin, or Lauren, Wisconsin. Thank you, Jay and Mods, for taking the time out of your busy day to come to us. Justice, love you all. I'm going to give you some hope here for Jen Soto being arrested. I don't know who's saying, I really can't believe Jen Soto's free. She's not free. I'm going to show you something that was posted 11 days ago to reiterate this. And I truly believe that this is true. First of all, we need to have patience, but I want to give you guys hope, because people seem to not have hope. And it's not just hope. It's law enforcement saying it. It's people in the area that go to the court, that see what's happening, that know that it's being, investigated, that know that Jen is not off the hook. It's people that are spreading rumors that Jen Soto is free. Jen Soto is not free. I'm going to play this video in a second. It's a 2-minute video of this breakdown of law enforcement, Jen Soto, law enforcement close to arresting her, and then we're going to tell you in 2 minutes why she's not free. Okay, she's not free. She hasn't taken a deal. Thank you, JoJo, for gifting the membership. There's no deal given for Jay. Yes, I'm going to lift your hope on a Jen Soto arrest right now. I'm going to stop this for a second. I know where we are. I just love spending time with you, and I want to keep Maddie's name out there. And I don't know when there's going to be another update. I cannot tell you when there's going to be another update, because there are no other updates until real paperwork comes out. So, and I appreciate you for saying that, because I agree. She's never going to be free no matter what happens. All right, so let's listen to this. This was posted 11 days ago. It's reiterated. I've talked with Duty Ron. We're on the same, as far as, I'm going to say, on the same mindset about Jen Soto being arrested and us having patience. But no, she did not get a plea deal, folks.
So I don't know that you could really have a lot of indications that there was ongoing physical abuse, where we see things like broken bones many times with children, bruises, this sort of thing. It's hard to really know at this point. The histrionics in this case are going to be so muddled because the situation has gone on for so long. Did he fly into a rage at that moment in time and take her life? And I think that when all is said and done and it is revealed specifically what was done to this child, many things will come to light, and we'll see how horrific this is.
And he brought up an excellent point. We do not access to that autopsy report. We'll never get that access. During the trial, it won't be shown on if it's televised, but it will be presented by the district attorney. It's part of the case. They will present her autopsy and all of her injuries or none of her injuries or whatever she had on her body when the medical examiner and the legal medical death investigator came onto the scene will be reviewed.
And there's another thing that we just debunked right now where Duty Ron says, and I read you at the beginning, how autopsies are not to be released unless one of the parents that are alive and are not convicted released it. It did not get released. The MADELINE SOTO autopsy report has not been released. No toxicology, nothing's came out. Thank you, Savage Barbie, for gifting a membership. I appreciate you. Lady for Justice, I appreciate you. Thank you. And for your great work and for your baby girl. Thank you. I love my baby girl. Even just love and prayers for my little angel. I can't handle that when her fever goes away. And then I think she's better because I give her Tylenol or Motrin and she takes a bath and she cools down and then she wakes up and she's all on fire again. So I can't handle that and it scares me. So thank you. And thank you, Carrie. Carrie, I'll talk to you after, hopefully. Thank you. I need some soup too. What are you talking about? All right, let's keep going. Thank you. And I was missing you, Jamie. Where have you been? All right, let's keep the hope up. Jen Soto, law enforcement, close to arresting her. Have some patience, folks.
Revealed at the trial. And we'll know the looming question of people asking, was she pregnant? Was she sexually assaulted prior?
I wouldn't bet that she's pregnant, though, because he would have got another charge for that by now, in my opinion.
Not necessarily. Nope. Well, again, they wouldn't make that public at this time. So again, we got to wait. We have to wait. And there's going to be, when trials start, and there's lots.
All right. You're right, Duty Ron. They would not make that public right now. We know maybe 1/10, and I'm being drastic. I could say 1 out of 100, but I'm going to say 1/10 of what we know. They know that much more. So that would not have been released. Okay. So you heard that from Duty Ron. I crossed my T's and dotted my I's. Today is Tuesday. And Sunday, I started hearing all this information. And I'm like, I got to get on here and talk to my crime crew because they're being misled by somebody. And I don't know what happened. So Guilty of Crime will be the first one with the truth. Jay will be the first one. Yes, I will be. And I promise you I will. I promise. I'm here. Thank you. And thank you, Cherish. Praying for my daughter. Yes, I want her to stop having a fever and they don't let her go back to school until that fever is broken. And then you have 24 hours in between so that she doesn't spread it. And school just started. Jen does not own the condo and her dad will probably sell it. I wonder if she'll sell it. No, Juan is Jen Soto's dad, and his name is on the condo. We've done some deep diving in this case, and he put that condo on the market twice since Jen Soto has been dating Stephan Sterns, and it's never been sold. But I bet you it will be now. All right, let's keep listening. And we just heard Duty Ron debunk a couple of things, folks.
So oohs and ah moments, right? The district attorney looks at this, it's a death penalty case. And they're going to go at him and they're going to throw everything they can at him legally that's possible. Again, a lot of people have these looming questions. They'll look at stuff and go back and try to contact potential victims. When you look at stuff like this publicly available, think about what's available as a law enforcement professional.
All right, so that was it. I just wanted you to see what I'm saying. Let's go back to this. I'm not done yet. I still have over 500 people in chat, and I don't want to abandon the Maddie case at all. I just don't want to say things that are not true or come up with nonsense theories. I only want to bring what's happening. Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. What? Now, a lawyer wouldn't have said that. Send me a link. Send me a link because lawyer would not have said that at all. All right. I can email lawyer, and ask him, and he wouldn't say that. And you're welcome, Simon K. I need you guys to have patience with me. Remember, I'm working on this case and I take it personal. I shouldn't take it personal, but I'm connected with the advocates, and the advocates are connected with the family directly. And they also help direct me in the case, which way to go, which way not to go. So they watch my content, and I do not want to be putting content out there that is going to hurt them. Never.
And that definitely increases the opportunity for stuff to happen.
Tori Byrne says we call them boats over here. So yeah.
Boats.
So, and how's the air conditioning in these facilities? Is it top notch?
Oh no! I mean, just as everything, it's very unreliable. I mean, the summertime, the wall. They say the walls start sweating, and it's just from so much like condensation. Like you can touch the wall and it's wet. You know, and that's how it is a lot of times. And then in the wintertime, you're freezing, and many times they'll keep it freezing because they say it kills germs, cuts down on staph infection, and you will be goosebumps 24/7. I mean, you're never really comfortable. You really never are.
Yeah, and it couldn't happen to a better guy. You know, we're talking about Stephan Sterns here. We don't really give a rat's ass about what was happening to him. Kitty KU, a channel member, good friend, she says, I thought men peed sitting down in prison. I don't think so. There's nowhere to sit. It's a metal rim, right?
Yeah, guys don't really want to sit down. If they sit down, it's go number 2, and they're going to put their sandals on it so that they don't have to touch the bare metal, because that's a very quick way to catch staph infection. I know why you think, guys.
Whoops.
If you're standing up, they don't want there to be any splashing. Because the toilets are so close to the beds that there might be some splashing. But what they don't sit down and pee. What they do to counteract that is they'll constantly press the flush button. And so as your stream, as your stream is going in, it's just automatically going down, and you'll just hit that flush button a lot. Right. That's what they do.
What you're getting, folks, here is the real deal. And thank you for that. Thank you for that descriptive description. But yeah.
Hey, remember that next time, folks, when you get booked into jail, put your chanclas on top of the metal toilet so you don't get a staph infection. If you learned anything from today's episode, learn how not to get a staph infection when you go to jail. All right. Thank you, Marilyn. And I'm hoping she doesn't have a COVID. I don't have any more of those COVID tests hanging around. I should probably get one because she's been sick since Saturday now. She started getting sick Saturday night, and then Sunday. Today's Tuesday. Anyway, I don't know what good that would do if I know she has it or doesn't. But yeah, no, it's not the lawyer you know, but I know what you're talking about. It's not him that you're talking about. Chat will redirect you to who you're talking about if someone could let her know. All right, it wasn't the lawyer you know.
This is he spent a decade in South Carolina Department of Corrections. The Department of Corrections does not really. It does vary facility to facility, but the actual things that go on inside most of these places, it's pretty common, and it doesn't really deviate that much depending on where you are. But I wanted to show this quick, and I've already broke my promise to you because we're 40 minutes into this thing. I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry. I owe you.
No, you're good.
But look at this. This is from phone calls from prison. Great folks who are
great channel. Good people.
Please, I'm going to link it in the description. Go over and subscribe to them. I believe husband and wife team. They're awesome. But this is what I was talking about.
I actually do have a test. I don't know if she has COVID. I'm going to do that after this. I don't think she does, but she could. So I'm going to give her the COVID test when we're done here. I didn't realize it was that bad until I thought her fever broke on Sunday night. And then Monday she was still sick. And then today she came and laid down with me and she was real hot. So I don't know. I'll give her the COVID test when we're done. I've got like 3 or 4 left. And, I've been babying her either way, bathing her, and making her have soup. And I bought a bunch of those little oranges, the baby ones or tangerines. I don't know what they're called, but the cuties. And I've been giving her fruit, lots of fruit. So fruit and whatever else she wants. Yesterday she wanted crab, so I made her salmon. I didn't have any crab.
He's backing into Osceola County Jail with Stephan Sterns. And look at him. Look at how he's keeping. Like, what a freaking creep, right? He does that throughout this whole ride. Like, I know you screenshotted and saved the one where he was looking at this guy, like looking at him like he was going to try to do something.
Yeah.
But look at the way he peeps. And you know what I noticed during his car ride I took note of this. At one point in this car ride, he actually looks at a little boy on a scooter on the sidewalk, and he was looking straight forward like this. And you see the boy go by here. And he sees him, catches him out of his right eye, and he homes in on him and looks at him. It was so creepy. Did anybody catch that? Please let me know in the chat if you caught that. But that was freaking creepy what he did there. Kid on a scooter, 12:55. Let me go to it and let me see if Duty Ron's on point here. 12:55. All right, so he's going to be here on the sidewalk. Here he comes. Watch it. Wait. Look. He's looking at him.
Wow.
Look at him.
Dang.
Wow,
yeah, he didn't have to look that hard. Come on now.
So I just caught that just today as I was reviewing that video. But let me go to where he pulls into the Sally Port, and you see all of the reporters. They're right here. He's backing in, and he notices it right here. They're out here with the cameras. See him?
Yeah.
He sees him. He's backing in. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
He's trying to hide.
6. There's 6 on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6.
Wow.
Oh,
Plus him.
wow.
Watch.
I didn't even catch it. Did you see that with all the reporters and stuff? He backed up. Now, I don't think she has yeah, I did mention the kid earlier. I don't think she has COVID. I'll test, but she doesn't have any like upper respiratory. She's not coughing or any of that. She's just body aches, fever, not just, but it just won't go away. It's the fever that like never goes away. It goes and then it comes back. So I'll test her. If I thought she had it, I would have already tested her. But now that I'm thinking about it, I will. All right, look at this. Figures, school starts, yeah, and daughter gets sick every time, people. And it's okay. I've already talked to her teacher and we're all good.
He gets out of this car and then decides when he gets out and comes around, he takes his laptop that I'm gonna sneak him into another location. Here, he's gonna get
That's
out.
crazy. I didn't see that.
And they're all right here, right off to the side.
Yeah.
And he gets back in the car. Now he's back in. And watch what he does here. This blows my mind. Puts the seatbelt back on. He's only pulling about 150 feet forward.
So he's just going the extra mile to save this guy.
Here they all are here. He leaves them.
Look at that.
Wow.
And watch what he does. You're going to see the reflection in this mirror. He pulls up here. There's a little car speaker. He rolls his window down and says, open a sally port. And then right here in this reflection, you see the metal gate go up. And he's leaving them in the dust. He's leaving them all. All they want to do is get a report. So he calls to the control room. And he asks them, they mute that part.
He went above and beyond to save this.
Wow.
Here's the gate. Paul, I don't know if you can see it, chat. I don't know if you can see it, but here, it's going up right now.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
And then he pulls in there, and now they can't get in there. I've been in these Sally ports gazillions of times. And now he's pulling in, and they're going to close it.
Wow.
And now he's going to be unchallenged.
Yeah.
And nice and cushy. So this guy, again, I don't know if he was ordered to do that. We don't know if he got out and one of the supervisors said, all right, stop that whole media circus. I don't think so, because most CEOs.
I didn't catch that before, folks. I didn't notice. And Duty Ron would know because he would know what a carport is and him going in and closing it, et cetera, et cetera. Now, Undead Ramen, I agree. My daughter went back for 2 days. And in the 2 days she went back to school, she fell asleep in class. And they called me, oh, she fell asleep in class. Well, that's when she got sick. Saturday came along and she started feeling hot. So, yeah, that I agree with. Anyway, I did not catch that before. With the transport. That was a good call. Learn something new. Learn that and how to not get staph infections.
Most of the bosses, they don't give a fuck. They just want the guy in there. They want him lodged, and they want it to be done safely. Listen, so these are some of the things that I pointed out in this situation. I have a lot more to talk about, but I wanted to get from you before we let you go, because again, I promised you 20, and now we're at 50 minutes. Oh, God.
It's all right, man.
Like the last time I see Jumpsuit Pablo on the channel.
Nah, we're good.
But everybody loves your perspective, and if you guys aren't yet subscribed, let me pull up his channel. He's at over 301,000 right now. So let me grab. Well, this is your interview. Here's your channel.
All right, let's go a little bit further and see what's next.
Just saying. Jack Stormo. Hey, you got a lot of fan clubs.
Oh,
you got
look,
a lot of
Jack
ladies out there. They
Stormo.
love you.
Did you see that, Jack Stormo? Where are you? And I don't think you have fevers with mono. I don't know. I hope not. All right. Let's keep going. Let's see what the closing thoughts are about this. And if you guys have questions, hopefully I already answered all of them. And peeling popcorn ceilings off. That sounds amazing. Jojo says, I fell asleep in class and never had to call home. Oh, I got to call home on the first day of school. Okay. But welcome to my kids. If you look at me, just imagine my kids are just like little versions of me, minus the tattoos.
Nana of 2 says, great show. Love seeing Paul on your show. Thank you, Nana. Melly is here. Okay, Angela, a great friend, Long Island native, says, JSP, how often does Stephan Sterns get out of his pod or his cell in a day? That's a great question.
I'll tell you like this. There's 2 answers to that, because I'm not going to tell you I know specifically and exactly what his schedule is. I'm not there. But I can tell you this. He's being held in protective management. He's being isolated. He either only comes out usually they'll do like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday type of deal.
All right, we're only going to listen to this for a little bit so you guys can get an idea. Again, this isn't totally have fever with mono. Mine did over the. Okay, I didn't know that. I have no idea about mono or any of that. You have fevers that it's good to hear good to hear, but I don't know how she would have got mono when she wasn't anywhere but with us. She didn't drink off of anybody, nothing like that. She's been with us the entire summer. So I don't think it's mono, to be honest with you. She's too little for that. There's no contact with anybody. Yeah, I don't think so. I hope not. My daughter's 9, gonna be 10. Amber Day, what's up? I went to school in Dade County and understand the Broward County comment. Yeah, that's the kissing disease. That's what they used to call it. Yeah, you're all freaking me out. She's fine. I'm pretty sure she's just got a cold. She just came in here right now, let the dogs in. She's not like just laying there comatose. She just, her body, she's having body aches and her fever is not going down. It's not even over 102. It's a little bit over 101 point something. So she just doesn't feel good. All right. Thank you, JoJo, for gifting the 5 memberships.
To where you get to come out and take a shower, and then you're back in your cell, and then your trays for food, they get brought to you. Now, if it's not that limited of out of the cell time, he may get 30 minutes to an hour a day, maybe even just 3 times a week to come out for a rec. And this is going to be in a cell block where there are similar people to where, hey,
we're protected, right?
Right. We're protected. We're in danger. No one's going to come out and cause problems, because if you cause problems in there, guess what? You're going back into Gen Pop, and they're going to get you. Nobody who's in there in that protective place wants to mess up and get sent back to the wolves. So everyone in there is very cordial. There's no problems. Everyone's safe. So they might let you come out and mingle for 30 minutes, an hour a day, but it's nothing special. So, whatever time he's getting out of that cell, it ain't nothing to be all hyped up about,
Thank you, Angela. And, it varies facility to facility.
And we've read the paperwork that Stephan Sterns doesn't even like to go out of the cell, folks. He likes to be there. He likes to be in the cell. He has shower time. He doesn't take showers. The first time we read about him, he didn't shower for 2 weeks. And then I don't know why he decided to shower. Maybe he just was like, I might as well take the opportunity. But I can imagine that he doesn't shower very often or even leave his cell. What's up, Diaz? Nice tattoos. All right, Stephan needs arts and crafts, not basketball. Yeah, he's definitely not doing basketball. That's for sure. Vicks Vapor Rub, don't sweat it out. Yeah, we're going to hope so. It's been since Saturday, so today's Tuesday. Let's hope it's gone soon.
We had Anthony from Tier Talk. He said it's up to the individual executives who run the jail. Probably the main guy, Gonzalez, makes those decisions on what rec time is, whether it's an hour. In some states, it's actually mandated that they get an hour out a day. And that hour out could be in in church or whatever they call it, where you can go to do your prayers or whatever, in the library, outside in the rec yard, depending on the conditions. Some places, if it's the middle of the winter, put the jacket on, you go out there, but they make the call on that. But yeah, so it's interesting. Here's one from We Are eBay. Jumpsuit, will Mila come on in the future? There was a big controversy with that.
Yeah.
Supposed to come.
Mila, she's the ex-girlfriend of Wade Wilson, who is now all over the news. He's supposed to be sentenced this month, actually, the end of this month. Very big case, as you can see, as Duty Ron showed you. That's all I've been covering for the past week or two. Yep. I do have Mila's cell phone number. I've talked with her for the past.
All right, so that's what we've been not talking about is Wade Wilson. Stinky Sterns is what we're talking about, but I think we're just about ready to wrap this up. I don't want to talk about Wade Wilson on a MADELINE SOTO case. I want to remember Maddie in her integrity, and possibly there may be something coming out, because we did look at the file today with each other, folks, and we see that, or I knew that in August that it was coming up on the 19th, I believe, in 6 days from now. So there's a hearing coming up. When the hearing comes up, usually the waives hit at the same time. So when the hearing comes, some other bits of information come out. So let's hope that is the case. First, I covers on 6. You guys, I got everybody freaked out about being sick now, and everybody's all right. Stanky Satan, right? All right, y'all. You guys seem to be right along with me on this. No one really had many questions. I think I answered everything that I could have. Enjoy your show. One Man Trash, what's up? Not since membership. Okay. Her immune system is doing what it's supposed to. I bet she'll be back. That's what I think too. She's doing better. Just the fever's not breaking. Now, let's remember Maddie 444 say a prayer for Maddie, and have some patience with all of us that wait. And let's have patience and not think that Jen Soto is off the hook. She's not off the hook. I'm telling you right now, she did not get a plea deal. Maddie's autopsy was not released. We don't know any of that information, and we won't know. And if we do, it's highly against the law to spread it or do any of that. If you think about the case that where it got leaked, the information got leaked, the Delphi case. The Delphi case, Abby and Libby's photos got taken by the defense side, and they're being prosecuted for that. So you cannot just get information and leak it to the public, especially information like that that's sensitive. So I just want you to know that all, and I wanted to set things straight with you and let you know where we are. Yeah, I agree with this. Marta Watson, I don't believe that on the first night back in months, Jennifer Soto sent him to another room with Maddie. Jennifer Soto didn't have to work in the morning, and then she goes to a hotel with him instead of staying at mom's. Right. I couldn't have said that myself better in 2 freaking lines on a YouTube chat. So yeah, think about that, folks. If she was on to him, yeah, I will shake it off. I'm shaking it off, Marilyn. But I'm not saying anything, but I'm saying something. So many people reached out to me and asking me about if this happened or this, or what do I know, or what happened with the documents. I wanted to share the documents with you all so that you can know. And I'm not sharing them. I'm sharing the documents, how to get to them yourself, so you can know where to go when things are coming up, how to download information, etc., etc. Clar, I'm doing Elijah Vu tomorrow. Tomorrow, Beyond the Evidence is going to come on with me, and we're going to talk about the Elijah Vu case, images that were erased, and where we are with Katrina Bauer and Jesse Vang. Also, they have not found Elijah Vu, so that sucks. That's just not. I don't know if they ever will. I don't know. I have a lot of theories on that. So if you guys come tomorrow and watch the Elijah Vu, show up for him and support so we don't forget about him. Potato is not off the hook. Patience is a virtue, and justice will prevail for Maddie. Thank you. 00 Jeanette C. I appreciate that because we just need to have patience, and many officers say the same thing about the case, that they're crossing their T's and dotting their I's. They have a lot of information they need to go through. It's a big case, and they don't want to screw it up. And so far, the Florida Department officers, whatever, Osceola County, and anybody that's working with them have done a very great job. Not even good. They've done a great job. So we got to put it in their hands to continue. And Stormy Cat or Storm Caddy, same thing, right? There's a Stormy Cat, I thought. Storm Caddy. You're welcome. Thank you for coming back to us and being awesome, every one of you guys. Now, remember, did Madeline ever complain about father to authorities? No. Her real father? No. What do you mean? Tyler Wallace never did anything. Did Madeline? No, Tyler Wallace didn't do anything. He wasn't there he wasn't there as many times as we would like to see a father being there, but no, he didn't. Yeah, we're just going to leave it as Tyler Wallace doing what he could and parental alienation until we hear more. I never want to talk bad about Tyler Wallace or Tatiana. You're never going to hear me say anything bad about those people. They're victims in this as well, and I'm going to keep it as that. All right. So the doctor should have known what was going on. They did not report. Right. Nobody reported it, Alara. Nobody did. Oh, all right. I love each and every single one of you. I'm going to go check on baby girl. Let's just hope. And I'm pretty sure she doesn't have COVID, folks. If she had COVID, she wouldn't be able to breathe. There'd be a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, thank you for the love and support. Jen was alienating. That we do know. that we do know. We can dig up paperwork on that, and her mom was paying for the lawyers to keep Maddie away from Tyler to make sure she had sole custody, etc., etc. But that's not part of the justice for Maddie right now to dig that stuff up. So we're not going to. I'm just letting you know what was happening. Tyler Wallace gets all the love from me. He didn't do anything. He has nothing to do with this case. Thank you, Bree. Thank you for sending the love. Thank you all for being here. We've been here for 2 hours and 19 minutes. And I'm right about, don't like going more than like 2.5 hours. So, oh, Lotus Spider, you're new to the case. Okay, I just didn't know if you heard something about Tyler Wallace or what, but no, I never. Yeah, there's certain things I stay away from, and I'm definitely not going to talk about Tyler Wallace in any other light than being a grieving father with Tatiana, very broken up from what I've seen and what I've heard. That's it. So on that note, thank you all. I love each and every single one of you. And until then, you can reach me back about this case. If you want to email me, or if you have my text, if you have my number to text me, if you have a question about the case, message me. I'll dig into it for you and I'll let you know. All right. Otherwise, until I have something to report, I will not do the Maddie case until something hits. I love each and every single one of you, and have a good night. Mwah.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty of crime?